The 11th season of MPL Philippines is brought to you by the following sponsors. Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL Philippines Season 11. Our official sponsor, Infinix. Infinix Note, ultra-fast gameplay. Our partners in esports, Maya, it's everything, and a bank. And Secret Lab, the official gaming chair of MPL Philippines. Experience the MPL Philippines Season 11 action live at Shooting Gallery Studios. Tickets are now available via tickettome.net. Get yours now. If you missed the matches and want to quickly recap what happened, visit our official website for post-match reports at ph-mpl.com/news. Don't forget to catch all of our official league content on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To ensure the quality and fairness of our games, MPL Philippines is also monitored and supervised by the Games and Amusement Board. Isa-isa na nagpapakilala ang ating mga unsung heroes. At sa bawat laban, mas nakikita natin kung ano nga ba ang mga bumubuo ng Philippine meta. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. We have lots of more battles here to tune into in the home of the strongest Mobile Legends Bang Bang players in the world. Good day, everybody. I'm Mara Aquino, and this is MPL Philippines Season 11. Now, yesterday, nasaksihan natin ang domination. But did you know na itong Gold Laner Extraordinaire is actually the youngest player here in our league? At 15 years old, he's dominating. But the question is, how will he fare against Benny Cutie, the most valuable player in the world? Now we're gonna find out. This is Echo versus Nexplay EVOS. Casters, pasok!
As we slowly discover the unsung heroes of the league, now as we call him, Doming Nation. had a good boost yesterday, gaining momentum by sweeping Smart Omega. Now they're up against Echo, who is currently the world champs, and they're up against Benecutie. Do we have, or they will have what it takes to beat or strike a streak this time against Echo? Guess we'll find out today. My name is OSX. I'm with Naisu and Reptar for today's action. It's Nexplay EVOS versus Echo. Should we call it a bit of a David and Goliath match? Something like that. A bit of a 2.0 for this one.
I think we can call it that, but we did have this kind of headline earlier this week too, and now TNC on the board here, which is a great thing. But now this matchup, in a way, yes, still it is. Momentum obviously in favor here, I would say. NXPE, a lot of people rallying between that sweep they had with Smart Omega, but again, it's against Echo, who, yes, they are the defending world champions, but there's been some signs of weakness in Echo too. It's just, can teams actually exploit that?
Yeah, just a little bit though. A few dents in the armor here and there. Echo are still really strong. Nexplay EVOS though, you can clearly see that they are still racking up the experience to continue looking for consistency this season.
As we're looking forward for the action of today, we are calling all Smart and TNT users who are watching us right now. So continue to enjoy the power of Smart by registering your SIM. Visit smart.com.ph/SIM REG now and get free 3 gigabytes of data. As Renwar mentioned, we have more action for today. Minana or Nexplay EVOS got an advantage yesterday by sweeping Smart Omega. And for the match of today and going in for our schedule, it's NXPE versus Echo again, and we have RSG and Blacklist International.
Two very awesome series, I would say, to round out, week 3 here. It's already been an amazing week because we asked what we wanted coming into week 3. We asked a lot of these teams, that they had to, the ones that needed to step up had to. And I feel like at this point, they have, specifically even what we saw yesterday. Now, for this, if we can end the week somehow, let's think, NXP sweeps Echo or wins this series, that's going to make things a lot interesting as we move our way into, halfway through the regular season next week.
Yeah, definitely. I can't believe we're already heading into week number 4, but only in the MPL Philippines. Again, we're going to get another day where you're going to see the defending MPL-PH champs, the world champs, and the reigning MSC champs all in action in one day. So
tonight, yeah.
Only in the Philippines that you're going to see
a lot of champs.
A lot of champs.
A lot of champs, a lot of strength we are about to see. But now I'm curious, right? We were talking about Nexplay EVOS. Now we've seen Domination or Doming. Well, we call him dominating from his performance yesterday. But he's one of the youngest.
Wolf.
Yeah, by Wolf, Kaisam Nupuero 2023. He's the youngest player in the league right now.
Yeah, I didn't know the kid was only 15 years
either.
old. The way he carries himself in interviews, even personally, he's a lot of the players here in MPL Philippines are shy, but he's a little bit more out there when you get to see him, the way he delivers in interviews. And my goodness, at 15 years old, highest rank is 6,000 plus points. Currently, Philippines number 25 carry. An impressive resume for the young man.
It's funny because a lot of people, when they think about those accolades, right, like high mythical glory points, top of the line, and then you have that badge as well, top, 25 carry for the Philippines, and you see how it translates to the game, right, competitively. Like we were talking about this yesterday, how, yes, you have these mechanically gifted players, but how does it fit into that puzzle of the team? And one of the things that's really shining here for Doming and the rest of the team is that synergy that they've had playing for so many years together, and that's why we see highlights for Doming and why it became Doming Nation, because his team allows him to get to that point.
Yeah, and one thing I want to bring up, you were talking about Nexplay EVOS getting a big boost yesterday with their sweep against Omega. What is a bigger boost than being able to 2-0 Kelra? Of course, last season we called him the gold standard, one of the top gold laners in the world, struggling this season, but that doesn't take away the efforts that Doming showed yesterday. He played tremendously against the Filipino Savage.
They had a long history, man, from underground to meeting at the professional scene. It was one of the things we call fate and destiny, and it showed up yesterday. And now, since we're talking about the world champs up against Nexplay EVOS, we're talking about Doming DR here, or Doming Nation again versus Benecutie. How, I don't know, from history and experience, Benecutie right now is the best gold laner in the world.
Yeah, and at one point, he thought he couldn't call himself that, right? We've heard this, if you guys were watching on 4, where he's like, I haven't won anything. I haven't won anything to actually allow myself to say that I'm one of the best players in the world. And now he is, right? He's got awards, he's got titles along with him. Now, Benecutie specifically, a lot of people call him Benecutie the Storm, and, in Filipino, Bagyong Benny, I think it is.
Yep.
Correct. And now it's him versus I feel like Doming is starting to form his own name. If it's going to be
Yeah.
Doming Nation, I'm not sure. But is it enough to face the Storm and the rest of Echo squad?
Yeah, the Storm versus the entire Doming country.
There you go.
The whole
The
country.
nation, yeah.
Yeah, the
Nation. Okay, fair enough. So as we all dig up how this history, how will Doming versus Benny Cutie matchup went, because we think of how their experiences went, how they're how they're being honed
Yeah.
through time and time again. Because if we're gonna compare it for the side of Nexplay EVOS, they had a good run. They're starting to show good impressions from week 1 to 3,
Yeah.
and I expect them to be more of a competitive mode today, because most of the teams right now get those what do you call this? They have these struggles as well coming up against the
journey.
world champs. Yeah, the journey. Now let's throw it over to Sona for our courtside report of the day. Who will it be?
Maraming salamat, casters, and we are now here at the audience stage kung saan nakikita nyo ang napakaraming mga manlalaro na or mga fans ng pinakaunang serye natin ngayong araw. It's gonna be between Echo versus Nexplay EVOS. At nababanggit natin na itong mga kupunan na ito, no need for introduction for each and every one of them dahil sila ay may kanya-kanyang achievements and accolades na naibibigay nila sa kani-kanilang mga kupunan. But at the same time, we also have the highlight player na paulit-ulit na binabanggit ng ating mga casters from a while ago. It is none other than Doming Nation himself, o mas kilala bilang Doming DR, being the youngest this season na naglalaro sa Nexplay EVOS at 15 years of age. Marami na siyang napatunayan sa amateur scene, and now mas gusto niya na mapatunayan ang kanyang sarili laban sa mga kilalang personalidad dito mismo sa MPL Philippines. Sa katunayan pa nga niyan ay nagkaroon siya ng challenges in terms of what he wants to do with his career. Dahil ito, si Doming DR ay suportado naman ng kanyang mga magulang. In fact, binigyan pa nga siya ng palugit or ng wager, kumbaga, na sa loob ng isang taon ay kailangan mong patunayan ang iyong sarili sa loob ng amateur scene. Dahil kung hindi, ay kumbaga ay pag-aaralin ka namin ulit. It was a matter of choosing your passion or choosing your career at the same time. And for Doming DR, it was very much of a difficult choice, pero dahil nahanap niya ang kanyang pangalawang tahanan, nahanap niya ang kanyang mga kapatid na sasama sa kanya pagdating sa laban, ay nakuha nila ang pagkapanalo at ang sunod-sunod na mga wins pagdating sa amateur scene. And not only that, dahil nandun na rin sila at umabot sa point na after nung isang taon na yon ay nakuha niya ang napakaraming championships. And then from there, the parents believed, and the rest was history, if I should say. Noong week number 1, nakita natin si Boyet DR na nag-dominate. Noong week 2, Ding DR naman made it to the top 5 place. And kamakailan lang kahapon ay nakita natin ang awakening ni Doming DR using a lot of marksmen in his arsenal. So the question is, marami silang kailangan patunayan. At nasabi sa akin ni Doming kanina na lahat ng mga gold laner matchups ay inaabangan at pinaghahandaan niyang mabuti. Isa na dito ay si Benny Cutie, that is definitely on another level right now sa dami ng ipinapakita niya para sa Echo. The M4 World Champions, again, no need for introduction, is going to be massive in terms of Nexplay EVOS at kung hanggang saan ang kailangan nilang patunayan para sa ngayon. But the question is, can this season's generation of miracles disrupt the ecosystem? It's Nexplay EVOS versus Echo. Balik na natin sa ating mga casters.
Thank you so much, Sona. Now for that courtside report, Benny Cutie and Doming. Once again, he mentioned about the hero pool. Is this enough to go up against the Storm, as we call one of the best gold laners in the world? Is this enough, stats-wise?
Oh, he has to show more. Doming has only showed 4 unique picks across this season. They've played the same amount of games in 9. Benny Cutie has showed 8 unique picks. The only hero that Benny Cutie has played more than once this season is actually the Melissa. So Benny Cutie has already flexed his cards. But this is a double-edged sword because now Nexplay EVOS know what to possibly watch out for, while Echo, knowing that, okay, Doming has those 4 that he usually picks around, what else can he show? Those are the biggest questions right now for Echo.
I think it's a big test, right? Yeah. You see the cards are on the table.
Yep.
And now, do you allow... I feel like there is going to be some contest going on for the Melissa pick because we've seen it successfully work for a lot of teams.
Make wonders.
Yeah, and that is a possibility. If those are banned out, and let's just say a lot of those bans when we get to the draft for game one is towards the, the gold lane, right? That's where that test of how deep does that hero pool go for both?
Yeah, hero pool, or should we say a hero ocean, could be unleashed, because in some points, Nexplay EVOS, since we're trying to discover the capability of this team, this opens up a big test on how will you be versatile, right? So Melissa, we have Carrie, possibly in Echo. Who do you target mostly from prioritizing the gold lane? Will you go for the XP, or will you go for the jungler?
Yeah, there's a lot.
That's the thing. It's tough. Yeah, I think we're connected there, Redmar. There's a lot to focus on, especially when you're going against, Echo specifically, because in every single lane, you have threats, right? Not to say there isn't for NXPE, but specifically it's been tested and proven that a lot of the surprises that teams might have against Echo, it doesn't work usually in their favor. So we'll see.
Let's see how the odds will be even for this match. Now let's call on the teams. Ready? We have Nexplay EVOS, and also for the next matchup, let's call it on stage.
They are currently on a 4-series win streak. They are the only team undefeated in series this season. And they are the reigning champions of the world, Echo! After 2 heartbreaking defeats last week, they bounced back in dominating fashion by sweeping Smart Omega yesterday. Make some noise! It's Nexplay EVOS! The hungry Neon Tigers, the world champion Orcas. Who will be louder? Who will be prouder?
There goes the confidence showing once again for Echo with the championship lineup. Not changing a thing. It's all in for this match.
One of the best, right? If not the world's best right here. Obviously, they've got the title. And all these players have proven time and time again just how strong they are in their roles, their lanes. Why change anything up? You don't need to. The only thing they do change up, though, obviously, is when they get to have a little curveballs in the draft, and we've seen them do that actually plenty of times.
Yeah, the biggest draft curveballs that Echo showed are actually in the mid lane. We've seen Sanji show up with a Julian in the mid lane. We've seen him show up with a Glue in the mid lane as well. So we were talking about the draft earlier. Yes, there are there's a 4-pick difference between Doming and Benecutie, with Benecutie with the advantage. But these two teams also, with Goyong in the mid lane for NXPE, he has a fair share of heroes that only he has showed that Sanji hasn't. So he's going to be playing alongside Doming, Boyet, Ding, and Brusco.
Still the same thing for Nexplay EVOS with a 100% gameplay capability. Now not changing a thing besides the hair colors. Now they're going up against Echo. So it all checks in for the draft. I'm excited how this shows, because this will be one thing that they can be attested for, right?
Yeah. Now they have 2 players with red hair.
Oh,
Like red, flaming orange hair. It's not just Brusco anymore.
so this needs to be updated.
Yeah. I wonder if as the season goes on, they're just going to see them, at one point, all of them will have red hair.
The development of the hair color.
Yeah. Maybe it's a buff, right? But look at a team head-to-head here. A bit of a minimal difference against Nexplay EVOS.
Yeah. What I like here is that, of course, everybody hates 1-1, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But they
count
also
me
have
in.
the Joy shared, the Kadita shared, and then showing with the glue, with the Kaja ban on the side of NXPE, and then, of course, Cho and then Franco for Echo. I think in terms of the drafting here, it's still going to be very familiar for all of us.
Yeah.
And
True.
we're going to be looking at maybe 1 or 2 different picks that we have seen, but we don't usually see this season as the potential X factors of this game.
One of the biggest things for the way the meta has set in a draft is those flexible picks, right? You don't see it too often, but when it does pop up, even like, for example, the Fredra XP lane, that can throw some things off for the draft.
Yeah, look at this. Echo for the statistics. Mostly the side of Echo's red is almost blue, right?
Yeah.
One thing that's different here is the first blood ratio against Nexplay EVOS. Something tells me the early game here is much more the thing that they need to look out to instead of the games happening.
Yeah, what I like about Nexplay EVOS is, man, even if they don't get the first blood, if they start off the first 3 or 4 minutes coming from behind, they know how to bounce back. They handle situations where they need to bounce back really well. Maybe go into the 5th or 6th minute, they are still down on turtles, they don't have a lot of kills. They know how to trade. They know how to sacrifice certain parts of the map so they get objective wins elsewhere, either with kills, with a rush tower push surprise. Nexplay EVOS, they have to draw in their bag of tricks, especially up against Echo, who the organized chaos they bring is, I mean, world championship worthy.
It's one of the calibers that we're trying to measure up against Nexplay EVOS. As we call it, similar to a David and Goliath matchup. Let's call in for our analyst for our keys to victory of the day.
Thank you, casters. Talagang importanteng team fight, of course, objective taking para sa ating mga teams. Kaya importante din ang ating keys to victory hatid ng Infinix. Para sa Echo, beware of the mid-team fight at NXPE counter-punch. Alam naman natin sa lahat ng mga previous games ng Nexplay EVOS, talagang gamit na gamit nila mga brushes doon sa may middle lane kung saan nakala natin lamang ang kanilang kalaban pero nababaliktad pa. With the help of the initiation ng kanilang post-5, doon natin nakikita yung dynamics ng team doon sa middle lane and at the same time yung patience nila kung paano sila maggagawa ng team play. Again, ito ang kailangan tayo ng Echo dahil very crucial yung kanilang Sansan duo na parte ng keys to victory ng side ng Nexplay EVOS kasi they have to focus more on Sansan. Again, ang pinakamagandang or isa sa mga undeniably na pinakamalakas na duo ngayon sa MLBB is Sansan duo. Napaka-importante ng kanilang rotation at the same time kung paano sila gumagalaw na hindi na kailangan pang more on the comms para sa kanilang team. It's more like Echo is playing fluidly kaya nagiging mas maganda ang kanilang rotation all over the place at pati rin sa objective taking. Kaya naman para sa ating dalawang teams, always have a secondary source of magic damage. Ito ay mga moments para maging mas madali para sa kanila na mag-burst. Again, it is a double-edged sword para sa kanila. It could be an option pero mas maganda since it is a battle of the gold laners. Ito ang ating Infinix keys to victory. Tawagin na muna natin ang ating mga casters.
Thank you so much, Chantel Adams. I didn't expect that the Tagalog broadcast to be that dark today. It's a Sunday.
I think they're calling her Atemo Wednesday.
Older sister Wednesday.
Older
Yeah.
sister
Wednesday.
Hopefully you guys get the reference.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You know what to do, right? Going back to the keys to victory right there. One thing that struck me onto that point was get the focus on Sansan, the one that we were talking about earlier, the XP lane matchup against Nexplay EVOS.
Yeah, in terms of drafting priority, it's Nexplay EVOS who actually prioritizes their XP laners and mid laners in the first half. Hence why it's great that we see that the key to victory for Nexplay EVOS is more focused onto the XP laner and mid laner of Echo. Because we know how well they can play individually. And then once they decide to be in one lane together, of course, with Sanji frequently visiting Sanford in the XP lane, that loses a lot of control for their opposing team. So Nexplay EVOS needs to focus on the Sansan duo amongst other things, especially the man we saw earlier in our screens, Benny Cutie.
Yeah, and there's some in some points of the game that we've witnessed up against Echo, there's some chance that they sometimes struggle on the mid game, right? That's the counterpart that Nexplay EVOS could actually work on. Now, heading into the draft, something juicy might come up here because we're about to see how Nexplay EVOS adapt on how will they open their hero pool up against Echo.
I'm just. It's kind of entertaining that Diggy is now like
Yeah.
prio banned, you know?
First.
After the day of Diggy that we had yesterday, no surprise why people are batting that straight out of the gate. And of course, it's Echo. It's Yawi. He has a history of Diggy, but Brusco also has a history of playing the Diggy. And at the same time, it just minimizes the heroes that can counter Yawi's ability to set up for Echo. Actually, not just Yawi, even Sanford, of course, especially if he ends up with an XP laner with a lot of control abilities.
I would love to see either NXPE take out the Cho or just take it for themselves, because honestly, teams were doing that usually when they play against Echo, right? Specifically because Yawi, when he gets his hands on that Cho pick, it's highlight after highlight, and he gets the setups exactly where he needs to. So that might be something that NXP wants to consider, or even just trading if they don't want to ban it out.
Yeah, and what's so surprising is as the drums thunder behind us, Yawi, even if he's not having that great a game on a Cho, Echo always knows how to follow up. One crucial pick-off that Yawi gets, and then suddenly Echo can just play around that so well.
Yeah, that's the beat of Echo follows in from early to mid game. They need to respect the possibility of Yawi using that show. Okay, wait, was it Canada? Okay, third ban for Nexplay EVOS. I'm about to say Yawi, but now Fredrin could be open for Echo and Valentina.
Most likely, either the Fred or the Val is going to be the pickup here for Echo. Although there are some teams who show different picks in the first phase. Echo isn't one of them. If the Fredrin's open, they will pick it up. But if they don't pick it up, it'll probably be the Valentina as one of the main options they're going to show here. With 1-1 not here, Kaja's also gone. So that's looking like it might be the case. Unless Echo is going to surprise with a first pick. But you even see them hovering it right now.
Currently helping.
Carl Teasy.
Help him out.
Come on.
There it is.
There you go.
Fred locked in, 100%.
Look, just how we help each other in the draft.
You know, that's kind of expected because it just allows Carl Teasy to pretty much have his own smooth transition throughout the game. So on the flip side, though, we got the Lapu locked in the Farsa.
Yep, gentlemen, I said it earlier, Nexplay EVOS is one of those teams that prioritizes their XP laner and mid laner in their first phase drafting, especially if they're on the red side right away. So now, Echo, will they pick up the Yuzhong for Sanford this early on? Is it the pick that they feel like they can prioritize alongside the Cho? Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
I saw it coming.
A good follow-up here from Echo. I was also expecting the glue to show up here, up against the Lapu, but this is a better option. Also, the Akai of Nexplay EVOS. You have CC, we have Burst. Now we're heading in for the second banning phase.
Honestly, we have a lot of CC on both sides, right? And, you know, even looking at this head-to-head, both these players, Sanford and Ding, love this Yuzhong pick because the way that they play it is actually very similar. And you have to respect it because they play it to the point where they know exactly what angle they need to enter from when they play that Yuzhong, when they use that Black Dragon form. They know exactly to put pressure on the gold lanes there. So now, knowing that, Ding should have a pretty good strategy on handling, you know, this Yuzhong aside from him. And that matchup alone, you know, should be actually quite interesting too, because we've seen even Lapu have quite a bit of big impact from game to game.
So now we're getting to the second phase. No gold laners yet showed by either team. Of course, in terms of the gold lane picks, you have Beatrix, Brody, Carrie, and Melissa as open and shared between Benny Cutie and Domeng. But of course, Echo, surprisingly, they actually take out the Harith. So this is what we're talking about. We haven't seen a Harith picked up yet by Domeng. But Echo understands that Harith's position in the meta makes him a very viable pick. If a team hasn't showed him yet, most likely they have him as an option. So it's a good ban here on the side of Echo. Let's see if they'll consider banning anything else. Because when you have a Farsa, and so far they need a little bit more magic damage, I won't be surprised if Nexplay EVOS is looking into maybe putting in a Nathan a carry or maybe even a Lunox in the gold lane.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ranmar. Pointing that out,
Oh, man.
we get a lot of tendencies or possible consequences if Echo doesn't seize this as a potential threat.
Yeah.
So the gold lane matchup is what it was actually working for this kind of teams, and now with the Eve pick, now they're trying to hold off the possible way of crossing out the one keys to victory thing, the magic damage that Echo needs.
Yeah, I love the bans here for Echo right now.
the last one.
The last one,
No
too.
Philippines number 25 carry action.
Yep, that's respect onto Domeng.
None of that.
Maybe EVOS is looking now into drafting the Claude here, but then with the Claude going to be up there, Echo's going to draft the Brody most likely. So they're sort of cornered here. But at the same time, Nexplay EVOS, I like their 2 bans, especially on the mid laners. They're respecting Sanji against. So far, both teams are actually, or so far, Nexplay EVOS are looking into fulfilling their keys to victory really well. Of course, Echo's key to victory earlier was something that we'll see later on. So, will it be? Will it be the Claude? Will it be the Nathan? No, it's the Lolita so far. So, they're really focusing on the gold lane matchup here. They want the best situation possible for Domeng.
Yeah, do you want the pin down? Do you want the stun? Do you want the hold? All things answered, but that is a Claude. Could escape good things with the BMI and do good things with Betty Cutie. Now, this equalizes things. What will be the last option here for Echo?
They need magic.
Yeah, magic.
Magic and spades.
They need it badly.
Yeah, if they go Julian here, it's all dive. The Lunox might be good, but the Lunox will have to worry about so many things to avoid that she might be, or Sanji might be forced to pop off the Order of Brilliance super early. But it needs to be a crazy amount of magic
Lunox,
damage.
yep.
I really like the thought of a Julian here.
Ooh, Radma, you called it. The Julian could be in the hands of, well,
It will be.
yeah, I think it will be in
Yeah.
the hands of the XP lane, or, well, mid.
No, for Sanji, yeah.
For Sanji, yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously now Carl TZ would you be using the Fredrin, so this equals up the magic burst that they need. Since there are a lot of ways that the Lolita can protect the front lines, well, go for the back lines instead of Nexplay EVOS.
Yeah. I want to see them. Oh, okay. No, it's a
Okay.
Beatrix. I was going
Yeah.
to say I'd want to see them consider a Nathan, but a Beatrix is safe. They have a lot of good wave clear. And honestly, a team like Echo, that's one of the things you need. Because if going up against Echo, who has a tendency to take control of the game early, one of the ways you can stretch the game, make it longer, is making sure that you have a good amount of wave clear, so it's a little bit more difficult for them to end the game.
Yeah.
Great drafting here for both sides. It's great showing.
Yeah. Well, speaking of showing, that's the Smart Talent predictions. All for Echo for this match. And watch out for the Smart Power prediction, because at some point in the game, a poll will show up. You only have the timer until the timer runs out to comment down your prediction with the hashtag SmartPowersMPL-S11. One lucky commenter who guesses the prediction correctly will win a redeemable in-game code. So be sure to watch out for the poll.
You know, with taking a last look here at both of these lineups, I like it too. It's pretty even across the board. One thing is, yes, NXPE has great high ground defense if they find themselves in a situation where they're defending in their base. Like you mentioned, Renmar, they've got great wave clear. But I would love to see them set the pace here, set the momentum. They've got the tools to do it. Let's see if they can pull this one off.
Yeah, speaking of tools and utility, this might be a crucial game, especially for Boyet and Brusco on the Akai and Lolita respectively. If they can time their crowd control abilities to stop the dive of Echo, then that's going to be the thing that they'll need to execute really well here, because Echo, that's all dive. They will get up in your face. So having the heavy spin of the Akai, having that instant sure stun on the Lolita, and of course a well-timed Numenon blast, if he can time it and stay away from the Yuzhong who'll probably be looking for him, then Nexplay EVOS will have a good shot at this.
Well, let the story unfold. Nexplay EVOS versus Echo. Again, the Orcas never lost. Okay, they're on a streak right now, on the momentum. If Nexplay EVOS could get something out of this match, this could mean something to boost something up on their end. And going back to this game, it's more likely, early game, more in the defense, because as Renmar mentioned, it's more of in the dive, right? You have power spikes as early as this now if you're Echo, but slowly but surely, they could gain pokes as for the gold lane could be visited.
Yeah.
Interestingly, they got that early flicker out from Sanji, right? So they can play around that into that first big objective, that turtle coming up here. But yeah, biggest thing is if you're NXP, you just got to watch out for the CC train that's going to be thrown at you, right? If Yawi does find his pick, if he finds his target, then as long as you avoid that, if you can stay alive, that's why also Goyang has, the ability to get out of those sticky situations with the Purify, right? And then he can wings by wings out. So as long as you keep Domeng safe, which you have a lot of peel, you should be okay to fight these objectives.
Yeah.
So peel and pressure could be the answer here for this first turtle take. Who's going to be?
Well,
Who's going to take it?
Newman on blast already. Everybody going in with a flicker.
Oh!
It's Boyet. That does secure the turtle here. They get the lockdown on Carl Teasy. NXPE. Sanford, though, able to grab a kill himself. And just like that, another falls here. Echo with 2 kills. They trade the turtle. Yawi going to be looking for Ding. It's a 1 versus 3. He falls too. That is rough. Triple kill.
Who actually won that battle early on, Renmar?
Sanford won that battle. Starting off the game with a triple kill, NXPE, they started that off beautifully. They focused right away onto Carl Teasy, took him down, got the turtle. You couldn't have played that any better, but Sanford and the rest of Echo had different plans. A 3-0 start for a Yu Zhong. Oh, the Philippine Dragon is going to be a pain for NXPE.
Oh, the Philippine Dragon.
And we don't have dragons here in the Philippines.
Something tells me you're a bit teasing me what's going to happen to the M5 skin.
Maybe.
Huh? I've seen the poll, bro.
You are thinking streets ahead right now.
I'm seeing the poll, but going back on how Sanford did that, there was a lot of space.
Whoa.
Flicker in onto Goyong.
You don't see that often.
Yeah.
Yep.
A little blunder there trying to find that setup he was looking for. But yeah, going back to the point, Sanford having 3 kills this early on.
Oh, good space.
Also, he took a ton of gold, from that turret already. So this makes Ding's job even harder. It's better if he just kind of farms up and then he can bring that value later on towards those objective fights. But already, NXP is setting their sights where they can find any win possible.
Yeah, you've mentioned earlier that the CZ train is possible for Nexplay EVOS to use early game. But knowing Echo, they could be aggressive as hell, as we know. Look at that freaking how Yawi used. It could happen most of the times early game, but if Nexplay EVOS can continue, as you've mentioned, the peel and pressure could be the answer, knowing that they have a lot of pin downs that they can use to see if most of them is on level 4 and 5.
All right, so this looks like a good situation for NXPE. Sanji is low. Sanford and Carl Teasy are here. Let's see how much Sanji can do in this fight with around 40% health. And NXPE in the advantage of the turtle.
Well, Sanford goes in with Black Dragon form. The fight for the turtle ensues. It's less than half health. Ding able to grab a kill. It's Carl Teasy that falls. Way the dragon comes out. Boy, it's quite low. Can he get the retribution? It's Ding that secures the turtle for NXPE.
They still win the retribution battle, no matter how Sanford did that knock up on 2.
Oh man, it's very clear right now for NXPE what their goal is every turtle. The goal isn't to get the turtle, the goal is to get Carl Teasy. Get Carl Teasy, then maybe getting the turtle wouldn't be that difficult. And so far, despite getting counterpunched in the first turtle attempt, Nexplay EVOS, they're responding really quickly. I like how Goyong is not hesitant to use the feathered airstrike to whittle Sanji down to lower health before the turtle starts.
Yeah, but they're going to find a connection here. Brusco could be in trouble. Flickers out. Nice defensive flicker. Able to stay alive a little bit longer. Avoiding a bad situation here. Good call coming out from Brusco.
You don't see that every day. Defensive flicker Lolita ult.
He actually waited for Yawi to make the first move, right?
Yeah, that looked oozy. That looked really cool.
Okay, so since there's a lot of AoE magic burst damage inside of Nexplay EVOS, they're waiting for the first one on who's gonna blink and most of the team fight engage because they sense something that they could use up against Yawi.
Oh, again, Domeng gonna get kicked into the turret, but lives to fight another day. I would say NXPE is doing a great job at actually avoiding a lot of this CC potential we were talking about.
Yeah, and that's what they need to do here. Echo, with them having the Julian, they're really not allowing it to snowball as quickly as it could. It is still a very close game, though, but there's a lot of pressure topside here for NXPE to deal with.
See what they're going to go for.
Dragon.
Sanford, the Black Dragon. Oh my goodness! Big setup coming out from Sanford. Able to grab the mega kill. Brusco trying to hold on for dear life, but it's 5 members up here topside. Double kill Sanford in a big play top lane.
CC train, no problem for Echo Express up top.
5-0 and 1 start for the Yu Zhong. Well-timed magic crowd control. We just said it. We just said Nexplay EVOS have been handling it well. But then suddenly here comes the Echo Express. Choo-choo, surprise! We arrived early. My goodness, and that's a free turtle there for Echo. An early anti-caress here for Yawi, which is what they need to pick up because it delays a little bit of the damage that Doming and Dink can dish out.
Yep. Imagine the next skin for Yuzhong is a train.
It's just a big train flash. It's the normal draconic human look he has, but then when he flies, it's just a train.
A train.
And then their next emote for sale is choo-choo.
Oh, you're giving them ideas. Go ahead. Contact Nice on his page. But that's a good point. Yuzo on a train skin? How about this? But how about the items now on Echo? Is it now showing up from their progress early game, Renmar?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially for the XP lane, like a 1.2k lead for the XP laners. In the mid lane, a lot of action. Carl TZ be able to get away, but an off-cam kill. Sanford is now 6-0-1, and he single-handedly took down Domeng in the top lane off-cam.
I think that skin could be possible, though. I'm still thinking about it, but now thinking about how Nexplay EVOS could hold this almost an early mid-game spike of Echo, they could actually hold. But there's a lot of things to cover, though. There's a push up top, and there's one also push in the mid. Who do you target here? Yawi, Sanji, or Benecutie?
Well, the thing is the fact that, you know, at this point, NXPE, yes, if they're avoiding those setups, those CC trains and everything else, that's good for them. But, you know, I don't think they were expecting to deal with an XP laner like Sanford at 6-0-1, and just the fact that he has that lead, and now you have Echo with a, 3K gold lead here, it's really tough to deal with that because Sanford, even more so than ever, can jump in with full confidence knowing that he's going to be fine into a whole group of NXPE.
A lot of action here in the mid lane, so I'm kind of hesitant to deliver analysis.
Not yet, Renmar. Hold it.
Okay,
hold it for a little longer.
The key to victory for Echo earlier was to beware of the mid-team fight NXPE counterpunch. NXPE loves doing that with a Yuzhong. But now with the Yuzhong on the hands of Echo are playing like how NXPE play with the Yuzhong. And we also brought it up earlier during the draft. This is a shared hero between Sanford and Ding. But right now, Sanford is playing a hell of a game right now, and NXPE are having a difficult time thinking of what they can do to handle with the pick that they themselves love to pick up. Look at this Lord rush here by Echo. NXPE sacrificed the Lord. They needed to get somewhere else in the map. This is what we're talking about, one of the best qualities of NXPE. It's a difficult trade to make, but they had to make it.
Yeah, I say they're playing it really cautious, right? I've seen some hope there for Nexplay EVOS to actually make more of their damage work, because I've seen the pushes down bottom with the Beatrix. Something tells me they're not ready to commit now in these major objective takes heading on mid-game. So I say they call and wait for time for the ultra late game.
Yeah,
that's the best case scenario for them right now, right? Because you give up that Lord. Like we were mentioning when we were talking about the draft, they have good base defense lineup, right?
Yep.
They have that high ground defense. They can clear waves pretty quickly. And right now, Domeng's struggling because of that lead that Sanford had. Even with that solo kill, right? Domeng was, 0-2, I believe. He still needs to get a couple items on this Beatrix and then even allow yourself that time, right? Right now, before we took this little break here, they're going to have to deal with the Lord, which should be pretty easy. It is only the first one. But as long as they don't get forced into a fighting situation, which is probably going to happen, knowing how Yawi likes to play around this, even if it's that first Lord, if they can survive that, stay alive through that, and possibly get a kill, then you're going to see them slowly crawl back into this game, because that's the crucial thing right now. Domeng, which we've built up leading into this matchup, hasn't been able to get to that point where we saw him shine yesterday, right? So allow him to get to that point.
And this is why the itemization right now of Echo is crucial. They know that they had the lead, so that the Farsa is delayed. They know that the first item of the Beatrix will be the Blade of Despair, so what do? Yawi rushes the anti-Karas to immediately get that physical damage reduction and to help temper the potential comeback that Nexplay EVOS can show here. So Echo are in full control of the situation. However, with the great wave clear lineup and the counterplay that Nexplay EVOS can do, Echo needs to be careful here. We've seen it before this season where sometimes they get caught off guard by themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Struggles.
They're putting a lot of pressure here.
Oh, okay.
You saw that, right? Even with the conceal, they were looking to make a play there. Nothing, though, to convert out of it. And again, Lord's still going to be marching top side. So Nice play there. Pressure from Echo.
Yeah, what hurts here is that Echo actually got to force the flicker out of Domeng, so that's 100 seconds. And a sign for Echo that Yawi, with his full utility combo, they may try to make a play for Domeng, so look how closely Boyet is sticking close to the Beatrix. He'll just pop that heavy spin right away if anyone gets close. So everyone right now is just making sure Domeng stays safe.
Echo's really like a train right now, pushing from station to station. But Yawi, what's this?
Yawi gonna go in with a heavy. Okay, doesn't have the heavy spin available just yet. There, it's locked down now. They're shutting him down. 2 fall for Echo here. The way of the dragon, just like we expected, what is gonna come out. Brusco taking quite a bit of damage. Should be just fine. But that's the thing. We were calling it. Yawi's gonna make a play there. Boyet didn't have the heavy spin. As it happened, it came back up. Perfect timing there for the ultimate to come up.
It's like so far in the series we say things and then suddenly they happen, or the opposite of it happens, because we were just talking about it. Echo has that tendency where they're in the lead, they'll try to make a play, someone will dive in, someone will try to pick off, and then their opponents get to counter. That's exactly what happened here. Now Echo are still in the lead here. There's still a massive gap between the XP laners. The Yuzhong already has the Oracle, so Sanford's going to be a difficult target. The gold lead between Domeng and Benny Cutie it's leading towards Benny Cutie, but it's not that big. It's good that that Domeng actually rushed the Malefic Roar already, so this Beatrix will be able to deal the damage. Of course, not as much as Nexplay EVOS would want it to, but it's gonna be there. As we look at the player gold, Benny Cutie and Sanford in the lead. Domeng, it's a good sign for NXPE that he's 3rd in gold earned in this game so far.
So they need more extra damage and magic burst here if you're in Nexplay EVOS. So I've seen 2 items already, but now Stanford is still leading though. But 3 members are starting to climb the charts here for the total damage of this game. So probably, as we've all talked about, time is what Nexplay EVOS wants. So can they hold it? Is this designed for their counter punch?
If you look here at the total damage done, 3 members of Nexplay EVOS are in between the top damage dealer in the game, Sanford, and the rest of Echo. So Nexplay EVOS, they are dishing it out. It's there. They are just going to have to do it so far right now from a counter punch position, because if they're the ones that initiate, I'm worried for them because they're going to have to deal with a Yuzhong and then a Julian late entry, a Claude late entry as well. So if I'm Nexplay EVOS, they're great at counter punches. Go for the counter punch. Let Echo try to set things up, and then you go for the counter.
Oh, wait, we're going to wait now. See who's going to blink for this Lord contest. This could be a Lord Dance. Have his spin's been committed already.
Yeah, they do try to find Carl Teasy, but not able to get that lockdown they were looking for.
Wraparound.
Look at the wraparound. Sanji looking for a moment angle himself. Sanford going to find Ding, pushing him back a little bit here. Sanji still waiting patiently. Domeng and Goyang don't want to get too extended here. They got to be careful. Lord still being worked on. Brusco able to spot them out, but NXP ultimately going to decide, you know what, guys, give it up. Let's just defend again.
They felt it coming, and they don't want that to be on their hands right now. Nexplay EVOS is being careful by the minute, but as Echo sees opportunity, they take it.
Unfortunate for Nexplay EVOS. You understand why they made that call, but at that moment, well, weirdly enough, that's how tanky Carl Teasy was. He only has a Blade Armor and Athena's Shield when they went through that whole sequence where they almost took him down. He didn't even have the Guardian's Helmet yet, so that's more of a signal for NXPE that, yes, they're dealing a lot of damage in this game, but so far with the itemization, with how the game has went, they don't have enough for Carl Teasy alone.
Oh, damage, magic, and damage is what Nexplay EVOS needs right now to hold off or even punish one from Echo. But the lead right now of 5.5k, they need to hold it through, but we're still seeing pushes here from Echo to penetrate the base of Nexplay EVOS.
Well, they give up that turn on the top side. That's kind of expected at that point.
Sanji's
Yeah, we're going to go
waiting.
in. Can't get the kick he was looking for. Goyang quite low, but they force Sanji with a flicker. They find the lockdown. Sanji falls. NXP still fighting for their life here. Benny Cutie with the blazing duet. Can they get Domeng?
Oh!
Domeng survives. Ding in the front line. Able to hold on a little longer. Now Carl Teasy on the run. NXPE holds it together, and it looks like they're looking to make a move.
Is this the move, Renmar? We've seen Sanji out of position. He was waiting for the right moment there.
Yeah, Nexplay EVOS are handling it so well, and Domeng alone off cam. He got killed off cam earlier. This time he gets a kill onto a crucial target. That's Yaoi's Joe. So Nexplay EVOS, again, they understand how great they are at counterpunching, how they handled the attempts of Echo to initiate and engage that. Boyet so quick to press that heavy spin to send Yawi back, and Brusco, once he sees that heavy spin is going, once he sees Sanford's Dragon isn't there to worry about, he will charge up that Numenon Blast, pair it up with the Flicker. This is the signature Nexplay EVOS counter punch we're talking about.
Oh, they're waiting. They're waiting for the right time to
Massive
strike.
here. Sanford quite low. He's going to be careful. He goes in, though. Benny Cutie able to take out Domeng. Now the next target's going to fall. Double kill for the Storm. Benny Cutie. It was looking good for NXPE. And now, again, it's 3 members. Just Goyoung having a firepower here to defend.
No feathered airstrike.
They lost 2.
Feathered airstrike just
How can
yet.
they defend?
Echo looking to push it in, trying to buy time the best they can. Crystal
Yawi.
going to be worked on.
Wow.
Boyet falls here. Echo Express in full control, still going. And that looks like it's going to be it. Double kill for Benny Cutie, and Echo takes game number 1.
Just when they thought they had it, a moment of control, a moment of momentum, Echo suddenly taking the wind out of their lungs
I felt
and
that.
getting the victory.
That's what they call a train with no stops.
Choo-choo.
Echo non-stop for the first game of the day. Up against Nexplay EVOS, there were some window of mistakes that they were committed, minute from 7 to 8, but they seen some potential threat that they needed to prevent.
The crazy thing is, Sanford was so low, I thought he was going to go down. But then his one assignment was, let me get in there, petrify, get that knock
show
up
my
and everything
dragon.
else.
Yeah.
Show the dragon.
Yeah.
The dragon, yeah.
That's it. That's how they flow. Man, this is the positioning
Yeah.
and how they penetrate the back. It's much more important.
Yeah, I mean that's how I feel. I'm tongue-tied.
Yeah, same here.
Tongue-tied
Yeah.
because of Sanford's
The blast of Malva.
performance. I mean, that's the thing though, dude. There was a glint of hope there. That last portion where NXP, they're probably thinking this is an easy mid turret. It is the tier 1 at this point, but Sanford's like, no, it's not going to happen.
His confidence is so up the roof right now.
Sanford started that team fight eating 2 feathered airstrikes. He
Yeah.
was brought down to like 40%, and he still said, no, we can do this, guys.
Yeah.
I'm just here, floating up top.
Yeah.
And-
It was great positioning as well, though. From Echo.
Well, speaking of positioning, I know Ren may have more a lot to say from the match. This is Echo winning game number 1. Break it down.
All right, so let's talk about the draft as usual here with starting things off. First 3 picks already. We got to see a good amount of the story being told by the Fredrin, Cho, and Yuzhong on the side of Echo. And of course, the Lapu Lapu, Farsa, and Akai on the side of Nexplay EVOS. Nexplay EVOS still focusing on their XP laner, mid laner picks. They take away a comfort pick in the Lapu Lapu, and of course a great pick at that, and then the Farsa as well, away from Echo. However, again, this is why we mentioned the hero pool of Sanji, Goyoung, and of course the gold laners in Domeng and Benny Cutie. And we got to see it here. We saw it in the draft, and we saw it in the picks of in terms of priority. So with both teams only having one singular source of magic damage, eventually we got to see that it was so difficult for the Farsa, despite Goyoung positioning really well. There's just so much dive on the side of Echo that he has to deal with. If Yawi doesn't get the pick-off that he would want, let's say Boyet already pops that heavy spin, we see Brusco charging up a Numenon Blast, Sanford will be there, and Echo took turns with that. The times where they didn't get to take turns with their crowd control and their dive capabilities was during the times where Nexplay EVOS were able to counter punch them well, especially with those marches with the Lords or with the sieges in their base. So Echo, you got to see it when they are firing off on all cylinders. They're timing their abilities well. With the amount of dive they had, things go well for Echo. Sanji, on this Julia, not super aggressive, but great for setting things up for the rest of his team, specifically Sanford. If Sanford isn't setting things up by his own, with his fly in with a dragon, with a quick petrify, burst, knock up, that's it. San is there working together. Sanji goes in. If he can't deal damage, all right, I'm going to just deal the knock-up. Sanford, you do the rest. That was the key to victory earlier mentioned for Nexplay EVOS. They had to watch for the San duo. Because if the San duo set the tempo from early to mid, Benny Cutie will pop off and find the opportunity, which he did. In that last sequence wherein it was in the mid lane, Where Nexplay EVOS were thinking, as Nice who said, hey, this looks like a free turret. Echo set things up. Sanford and Sanji were two of the first few to enter that team fight. And look at their combo here right now, earlier on in the game. And then who cleaned up house? It was Benny Cutie. He got a double in the mid and then a triple in the base. That amounts to 5. It didn't count as a savage. It was an unofficial savage, but it was Benny Cutie cleaning things up. Excuse me, I have to correct myself. It was 2 double kills. One in the mid and then one in the base is what we're talking about. Look at that. San. First to enter. Carl Teasy timing his crowd control well. Benny Cutie got pushed back, but he was able to deal the damage. Rinse and repeat. Everything that we mentioned in the keys to victory were highlighted by these two teams in the draft and in the game. Beware of the mid-team fight NXPE counterpunch. Echo fell to that a few times, then they adjusted. More focus onto San. Nexplay EVOS unfortunately got the blunt end of that. Always have a secondary source of magic damage though. Well, we didn't see that here, but you saw in how the draft went. That's what teams were thinking about. They didn't have a secondary source, but they both drafted in such a way that both teams only have one. A Julian for Echo, a Farsa for Nexplay EVOS. Gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Renmar, for that analysis. By breaking that down, something tells me that's a rhythm that Nexplay EVOS needs to stop against Echo, because there was sometimes there was a high and low note being through the beats, right?
Yeah.
And they just never stopped looking for that direction, and that gave them a way to just push forward by Echo from early game to mid game. And also, I've seen some chances that Nexplay EVOS could actually fight back.
Yeah. There was. Yeah, I mean, there was. That's the mid-game counterpunch, right? There is the possibility for that. But that's the thing. Echo, they've been through that many times, even on the world stage, and they know how to adjust to it. You see it there. But still, I got to say, when you start the game with a triple kill on your XP laner, that already makes it very difficult to deal with, right? Especially in the hands of someone like Sanford, who he is a playmaker in himself. We were talking about this yesterday, how, yeah, there's a lot of focus on gold laners, even, junglers and everything else. But still, there's this XP lane factor for a lot of the teams here, and they can dictate games like we saw here. And even at that end there where I thought he still had the Petrify, he didn't even need it. Sanford's like, you know what, I'm just going to be the distraction, going with the dragon form, and that's it. That's all he had to do, right?
Yeah.
Because for the majority of the game, the guy was literally carrying the early game with that lead that he had.
Yeah, and with that, experience the MPL Philippines Season 11 action live at the Shooting Gallery Studios right here, right now. If tickets are available, tickets are available via tickettome.net. Get yours today as you can join us with the action. As Nice who said, it's the XP lane factor for Echo. It's the Yuzong. I'm expected to be banned next one.
Yeah, maybe.
Or taken.
Or they could take it themselves. Yeah. Actually, I was thinking it was going to be a Yuzong Farsa for the side of Nexplay EVOS that they would have picked up instead of the Lapu Lapu Farsa. I get why they pick up the Lapu Lapu, but considering the matchup of the two XP laners in Ding and Sanford, I really thought they'd prioritize the Yuzhong. So maybe that's what we'll see. We also have to take into consideration why Yuzhong, suddenly the pros started playing it more. He's always been in the meta, but he's been seen more as like a B option, maybe A-. But recently, because of the adjustments, team realized because of the adjustments to knockback effects, where knockback effects having that momentary stun, a super small micro stun, it's surprisingly a game changer. Before it was just a knockback. Now there's a small stun that you have to deal with every time you get knocked back by the Yuzhong. Hence why it rose in pick priority. Nexplay EVOS plays with it well because they understood that, but now more teams are understanding it well. Yuzhong is going to be one of the XP lane picks to watch out for.
It's like a mini Petrify.
With the Sun and the Petrify on his hands, I believe that's the one thing that you would want to dwell on, having the Purify on the next one.
Yeah, man. For most of the team fight, you're just going to be like,
yeah.
Like
And and that's the thing. For some reason, NXP was caught a lot of times bunched up. So even more,
in tight corners.
Yeah.
In bad situations.
In bad
corners.
situations. Yeah. So with this being said, they could actually fix this on game number 2, and with the draft, and if they become first pick, maybe they have a chance to actually use their comfort ones, because as we were expecting, there were a lot of ways that we can actually unleash the hero pool of Nexplay EVOS, squeezing out something new, right? Are we seeing that angle for this for next game?
You know what I want to see? Some teams shake up their priorities in the drafts. Like if Nexplay EVOS is on the blue side here, they should ban out the Kaja, maybe consider banning out the Franco,
Fair
maybe
enough.
the Diggy, and then they're going to first pick the Yuzhong. Just first pick the Yuzhong right away. We've seen it
The
can work.
curveball.
The
Yeah.
curveball. They actually did that once earlier this season, if I'm not mistaken. They got a win from that game.
The Yuzong, yeah.
Yeah.
So that explains the KDA head-to-head, right, with Sanford, right? So the familiarity of these heroes could actually be tested. So it's just a matter of time. How will they react in this draft?
I mean, the funny thing is you know, we spent a lot of time comparing the two gold laners, right? And it's still there. That is still an impactful comparison with
Yeah.
these two gold laners. But in this previous game, they didn't really get the opportunity. I mean, yeah, Benny Cutie later on, you know, he was
Yeah.
popping off with the blazing duets. But for the majority of the game, it
Yeah.
was other lanes to worry about. And that's why, again, that keys to victory was the San duo. Now, that's not to say NXPE, I'm wondering what duo is going to develop there because, you know, again, all these guys have that synergy there. But that is something that teams are actually struggling with every single time they play against Echo is how do we deal with Sanji and Sanford? And
San.
the San duo, right? Because they are deadly. Renmar mentioned it in his breakdown of game number 1. If Sanford's leading the charge, Sanji's shortly there finding the other angle. And then so what ends up happening is control chaos. Everybody freaks out a little bit, and you're kind of left to member after member going down here, right? So, and then when you give Carl Teasy like his hands on a jungler like Fredrin, who really, let's be honest, Fredrin doesn't have to worry about too much, right? You're going to go in, you're going to get some taunts, some knockups, but mostly you're focusing on the objectives. And so Carl Teasy kind of just coasts through it while everybody else is doing things. So there's a lot here, a lot of boxes that need to be checked for NXPE.
Well, if we're talking about duos and Sanford and Sanji, well, Boyd and Ding's performance yesterday was really good up against Smart Omega. So it was more likely on the macro approach with how they rotate early game. We could expect to see it in game number 2, right on the draft.
Maybe this time we will. And it's going to be Echo on the blue side. So no changes in the priorities. So far, the banning phase might be similar. Because Nexplay EVOS, you wouldn't want to give the Joy. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be the exact same bans, except maybe they'll change the ban on the Kadita instead and ban something else.
Think they like the Cho, or possibly?
Yeah, they could ban the Cho, although I actually like how Nexplay EVOS handled it. They can open the Cho, maybe they'll ban the Fredrin instead.
Yeah.
And then make Echo think about drafting like a Barrett or maybe even a Hayabusa for Carl Teasy and then just play around countering that.
Oh yeah, we seen it yesterday against CNC. Carl Teasy used
The Hayabusa.
the Hayabusa on the other match, rather. So possibly it could be you. So with this opening heroes for Yaoi, or even Sanford again with the Yuzong. Okay, it's a similar thing.
If this Fred,
Renmar,
it's
what
Fred.
is this?
It's going to be Fred.
Yeah. Fred.
Yep.
Okay.
Of course, it's going to be Fred.
Okay.
So this is where we see it. This is where we see the difference, Renmar.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Farsa, Yuzhong.
Exactly.
Right away.
Or if not the Farsa, hold back on the Farsa pickup, but honestly, it'll already do good. Next week, EVOS just needs to watch out for the Julian pickup. I mean, the Julian pickup came in the second phase earlier.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's a Yuzhong.
Oh, Farza Yuzong, you're a happy man, Renmar.
Yeah,
Now,
that's right.
Hey, nice who gave me the idea earlier. He's the one who said, oh, maybe prioritize instead.
well, with this, Nexplay EVOS is checking 2 problems from game number 1. I say Echo knows they might actually anticipated this. Did they let this happen? Or are they really that prepared?
I'm pretty sure, like, if we can predict it, they probably already thought about it.
Yeah.
Like, even in the lead up to this game number 2. So, maybe they'll actually pick up the Brody or the carry at this point.
And then
And then the Cho, yeah.
Cho
well,
Lapo,
yeah, I
no,
heard
Cho
that.
Valentina.
Okay, they decide to prio the
Fair
Valentina.
enough.
Okay, okay.
Valentina wasn't prioritized in the first game, though, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, she was banned out second phase, I think.
Yeah, banned out second
phase.
phase. The priority for Echo earlier was the Cho Yuzhong.
Yep.
Actually, the funny thing about this now, we'll actually see 2 dragons in the game because Sanji will be getting the dragon form of Yuzhong.
it's the same experience.
Imagine how I feel, man. Way of the Dragon. There's the dragon form. There's the copy dragon form.
Yeah. It'll just be a dance of dragons.
It's a whole lot of dragon.
Yeah. It's like celebrating New Year or something, right? So now, this would also put Nexplay EVOS to a position. How will they go for this? XP lane or mid lane? No. It's the
There's the
marksman, yeah.
I think this is better.
Yeah.
I was wondering about this last game, actually, because she wasn't picked. She wasn't banned. I was actually half expecting NXPE to take the Melissa previous game and not the Beatrix. So
Yeah.
we'll see how this time plays out for them. But at least for them, the hard part about it will be, okay, let's say you have Valentina copying that Feathered Airstrike, then of course that will make things a little more difficult, and then depending on what those last two picks are for Echo as well, where they're putting the pressure points on against NXPE.
Oh,
Pressure points.
in terms of like tendencies that we've seen this season,
Go ahead.
Nexplay EVOS have drafted 3. The first 3 years that they drafted, most likely they might actually be able to force a game number 3 here. Because of the lineup here
So
of
you're feeling
Echo,
good about it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm sure Nexplay EVOS is feeling good about it as well. Let's see if Nexplay EVOS will consider banning out something like the Grok that can be flexed. They take away the Claude, so tendency is second phase. If you have already drafted a gold laner for yourself, you'll take away gold laners for your opponent, so they take out the one Claude. Because if you think about it, man, the Harith will struggle here, the Brody will struggle here. A lot of the top gold lane picks will struggle here for Echo. And with the priority of the Valentina, Fredrin, and Cho, they're going to need another source of magic damage. Benny might end up picking up something like a Harith or a Nathan that will most likely struggle. Maybe
Lunox?
they'll consider Lunox. Maybe, that's a big maybe.
Yeah.
And then Sanford, I'd want to actually really see them try picking up the XP lane Grok.
Could be, yeah.
The Barretts might have a hard time here too. So it's great drafting so far from Nexplay EVOS. That little adjustment right now going to the second phase, they have a good advantage here.
Okay. Nexplay EVOS now is seeing a glimmer of hope and taking this to game number 3. I love their priorities right now because if they want to get ahead or have a good matchup against Echo, they would want to have a priority, as you've mentioned, on their tank. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well, sort of, you know.
Kinda
sort of tanky.
yet.
yeah.
You at
This
least
could be their
lock that in.
jungler, right?
Yeah.
A
Wanna go
faster
hands.
way of rotating around, because on the matchup of that we seen from Nexplay EVOS yesterday was the duo of the XP lane and the jungler that made way for, or to give space rather, for their gold laner.
Echo is going to need magic here because they need to draft a lineup that has the potential of ending it quick. Magic is his life too, so it is the Harith. It's not going to be the
Alright.
Grok, but it's going to be the Benedetta. Okay.
Yo,
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay.
Optimal Wednesday.
Yeah.
And imagine it's Sunday and it's Wednesday. And going back to the draft, the XP lane, Sanford got the option of the Benedetta. Seems like they're answering the counters here too against the Nexplay EVOS.
Yeah. So in these scenarios wherein you've probably drafted a lineup that will struggle against your opposing team in a clash, you're going to need someone who is going to either easily be able to dive and deal damage or just split. So that's why the Benedetta was the pickup there for Echo. But with all the dashes on the side of Echo, the best pick possible here for Nexplay EVOS was this. They picked up the Kufra.
I love how the camera angle switched to Yaoi when it showed Kufra. You've seen him play time and time again. His performance is a monster with using this Kufra now in the hands of Nexplay EVOS. I say they have ways to answer how they could get their hands on this Harith and this Benedetta. So let's see how they push us to game number 3. This Nexplay EVOS has an edge now, Ranmar, for this draft.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The lineup here for Nexplay EVOS looks easier to pull off. There still might be a chance, though, that Echo will be able to take control of the early to mid. But once that Melissa has full items, I have full faith in Nexplay EVOS and that they'll be able to play around it so well. Again, it's a Melissa and a Farsa together, and then you have Yuzhong, Kufra, and Marte. So it's a front-heavy lineup that will create a lot of space for the back line. The X factor here will be how well Harith Benecuti can play this game. It will be difficult for him. If he pulls this off, it will be an all-time Harith performance. And also how well Sanford on the Benedetta can pressure the entire map.
Let's see how this game 2 unfolds. Will Echo make this a sweep against Nexplay EVOS, or this might be their chance to get one up against the world champs? Let's see how they go early game.
This is a good position, too, for NXPE. I mean, based off the draft, right, this should go to a game 3. And also, just taking a look real quick, the Killer Orcas. Echo is ranked first in kills per game for 15.6. That's pretty massive. So we know that they love to fight, but so does NXPE. I mean, they like to throw it at teams as well. Now, I like that you pointed it out, Renmar. Big thing here is allowing Domeng to shine on this Melissa, and you have so much peel available to
Yeah.
you, whether that's Brusco, whether that's Boyet, or even Ding to rely on Ding to be that front line, and then Brusco to either follow up with the sets, and then even Boyet can peel here for Doming.
Yeah, you're talking about reliance, right? Because Doming right now is rocking the Inspire, so maybe the trust right now is with Brusco and as well as Ding. Because if you're up against the setups of, well, Sanford of Yaoi, you would need a flicker, right?
Yeah.
But this relies on how this team would make their magic work up against Echo's lineup.
Yeah, I also want to see here what ultimate Sanji will be picking up most. How will he prioritize when to use it? And that's the power of this Valentina, even though Nexplay EVOS, again, draft-wise, they look easier to pull off. The Jack of all trades pick, that is the Valentina, gives Echo a lot of flexibility and options in terms of how they're going to approach playing this game.
Yeah, good pressure with Sanji and Sanford. The duo up on the EXP lane now sets up for the first objective of the game. Boyet sets up camp. Cartesi is here as well.
Yeah, it looked like, so they win in too. They're already going to push him back. Brusco quite low as well. Turtle going to be secured here. Brusco fall in first blood. Going to the hands of Yaoi. They're still fighting though. Electro Final Blow was used by Sanford, pushing Goyong back. It looked like NXPE was just pushed in all directions and not together.
They're all over the place, Renmar.
Yeah, them finding Brusco like that, or specifically Yaoi finding Brusco like that, was just highly unfortunate for Nexplay EVOS. That's something Nexplay EVOS will want to adjust to. Make sure when the objective is up, Brusco, maybe a minute leading up to it, did not put himself in a situation where he would be brought low or he'd get taken out. Nexplay EVOS, the strength of their lineup is if they play together as a team in those major objectives, as 3, as 4, as 5. They need to stick to that idea.
So they need to assemble if you're Nexplay EVOS.
Exactly.
The power right now, you have the Magic Worship on to Goyong. It would really complement early games and mid-game spike that they need if they're going up against Echo. Aggressive as they are, look at this, Sanford against 2. Down bottom, still maintaining the waves. Meanwhile, up top, Cartesi, well, it's all aid for Benecutie up top as well.
Yeah, we've seen this before. There was exactly a rotation like this in the last game for Echo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an answer, right? You delay Domeng so that he doesn't get to the domination, right? That's exactly what they're doing
The domination state.
Yeah, man, they saw what he can do yesterday. So Echo putting pressure where they need to. They know it. And look at this, like already, almost the 4 minutes in, they've already built themselves actually a nice little gold lead at this point.
Yeah, Clock of Destiny here for Sanji, so he might actually be looking into picking up the ultimate of the Farsa more often, which will be good for Echo in terms of, again, just furthering their lead. GOAT Energy, first player in MPL-PH history to reach 1,500 kills. And that was perfect that they showed it at that moment with Fredrin walking like that.
Walking like that there's nothing happening. Cartesi is on a goal for this season, even for tank damage. So we could expect it to show up some point in week 7 or 8 or even earlier how Echo makes these milestones work. But no contest for Nexplay EVOS as of now. No, not even Martis or even Boyet to go near.
So that's what they're trading. They are willingly giving up turtles early. Oh, well, the first one they contested, but they gave that up. But what they did was so that they could get positioning here for Doming in the top lane. But right now, Nexplay EVOS might not be able to get something out of it because Echo has the information and they have the idea that it's going to be centered around their top side.
Oh, yeah. Good cut lane there.
The gambit did not work for Nexplay EVOS there.
And by just looking at the items, even Goyong is really delayed in getting the first one too. If you're up against a Valentina, you need to go either stay the same level.
Well, they already got the flicker around from
Or you can test
Goyong.
it.
Still, just putting minor pressure where they want to. And Echo, I mean, they get the resources, the ultimates out that they want, and then they're happy with it. So out of all of this, NXPE at least grabs the turret top side. They can kind of play around that now. They're probably going to park Doming bottom to just continue to farm up, allowing him to get the items that he needs.
Yeah, and it's a really safe and cautious call, but I could see it working eventually for Nexplay EVOS if they don't give Echo any chances with just going crazy with their lead here. But with how Echo are moving, they're countering back quickly in terms of getting resources and control back in the map.
Oh, also not being safe right now is not an option for Nexplay EVOS because if they wait, you might want to trade a 2 against 1. Sanford still survives.
Yeah, that's the tough thing, right? He didn't even really have to use the Petrify there. Gets out with the Electro Final Blow and everything else. And that's why Benedetta is so strong, right? She's parked in this XP lane because 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, Benedetta usually is going to be fine. So the pressure there. And then now, my question is, does NXPE just want to give up all the turtles for this early phase of the game?
They shouldn't. It's 6 minutes and 30 in. It's a 2K gold lead for Echo. If they give this up without even trying to at least get a trade, a kill, it's going to be bad for them. They need to contest this.
Trade or contest? That's the question of Nexplay EVOS that need to be answered against Echo. Will they do it right now? Boyd is on the coverage here.
Yeah, they go in. A nice try by Brusco here. Who grabs the turtle? It's
Wow.
Carl Teasy. Din coming in. It looks like they're going to give the back call here. NXPE on the run. Boyette fell. Yawi with a little flex there, but again, NXPE falling further behind.
Echo Flare.
Charging up once again. Tier 1 turret going to be taken out. Mid lane. It's looking tough here for NXPE.
Very, very tough. Again, I mentioned here that the lineup of Nexplay EVOS looks better if they were a bit more assertive in wanting to take those turtles. Try not to go for those gambits a bit, because now you're up against a lineup with a Harith specifically that was unbothered.
Literally unbothered.
Unbothered. They couldn't do anything to him. So, of course, Medicurity's damage is going to spike considerably. That's 6,000 gold. It's only 4,800 here for Domeng. So, Echo, with them being more assertive, though, this is a good call by Nexplay EVOS to trade it, but they're going to lose something up top as well.
Oh, that is tough. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but still. Echo still controlling the pace, the movements around this entire game now. NXP, at this point, that's kind of what you hope for, right? You just hope that you can find picks where you can, objectives where you can, but ultimately what this leads to is them losing space around the map, and then they've got to deal with the Lord coming up in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, right now on our screens, hello MPL, this is I'm Goyong, by the way, ranking 1. Those are stats and milestones of these freshmen just came in from MPL Philippines. So going back to the thought here of what you've mentioned, Nisu and Reptar. So now they could actually isolate one from Echo if they want to have a grip on this mid-game power spike. The counter punches we're talking about and the keys to victory could actually work if they see that window. Wow. Okay. I thought that was that was real. Oh, was that real? Oh, okay.
Wasn't real.
It wasn't real. It's still 4.4k goal lead. I thought I was just seeing it by myself. Okay, now going back to this game, it's still Echo's play, right?
Yep.
And how will they penetrate? Because there was a lot of waves, there were a lot of turrets up top that was taken by Echo, and they're opening up the forces of Nexplay EVOS and leaving them so much problems that they needed to be solved for this minute.
Yeah, this is going to be tough here for NXPE. Look at them. Echo's just pushing back.
Boyette.
They just push Boyette back here. Not even going to give him an opportunity to contest this retribution for that Lord.
So fast.
And that's what I was saying, right? The lead in itemization and space and everything else that Echo has right now, if you're NXPE, it's really difficult to actually say, like, all right, let's give this a go, because they're so far behind.
Yeah, speaking of giving it a go, is the items enough? Is the defense enough? Because if you're looking at the composition of Echo, there's one knock-up, there's one way that Sanford can slip through and knock out everybody with a Petrify, so that answers a lot of questions for NXP to answer. Because if we see it soon, they could either pick up one. Oh, he missed it! Brusco missed it!
That's not how you want it to go, right? I mean, the question you're asking here, Francis, if things go like that, it doesn't really matter, right? So now it's Echo top side. They got the lore to deal with. They know that Brusco does not have the ultimate available, right? He's still holding on to the flicker. So a Hail Mary defense is going to be what they need here. So Lord now working on. Yawi going to go in with the Way of the Dragon. They find Brusco exactly. Still alive for now. Another going to fall here. Sanji gets punished. A little bit of life for NXPE, but still working on him. Benny Cutie finding the kill himself, but 2 fall for Echo. Domeng helps them hold on as he grabs 2 himself.
They take out Ding, but seems like this happens a lot to Echo, friends.
Yeah. Well, we know that's like the The script.
Yeah.
It's like the Echo Yaoi script.
March with the Lord, and
Here I
then
go.
dive under one of the last turrets somewhere, and then your opposing team will be able to turn around. Will history repeat itself again here in the mid lane, though?
We're calling it the script, okay, for Echo, Carl TZ and Yaoi, because it happened a lot of times in most of their matches, and we're just seeing similar ways on how they will approach or even take down base of Nexplay EVOS. With the lead right now of the Orcas, could this be that deadly for Nexplay EVOS to still hold with time?
Yeah, this is the best thing they can do. Again, their signature defensive counter punch. It's hard for them to set up and actually try to get a win out of that.
Oh, this is tough right here. Boyette just taking the brunt of everything. Gonna fall here, trying to get his purple. But Echo not even gonna let that happen. NXPE down a member here. And it's Echo just having free go at everything they want on the map.
Yeah, man, they're just playing their game right now. They know they're in control. They have their comfort picks. Yaoi's already having a TP battle with Brusco across
Saying
the
hi.
wall. Shout out to my neighbor's dogs who woke me up the other day barking from across the street. Sort of that like that right now, except this time it's with teleports between the two talented roamers of these two teams.
Amazing, right? Amazing. Music to your ears. But now in this game, this is not music for Nexplay EVOS. This is something where they need. This is something that's a question that I was really asking you guys that needed to be answered, that needs to be addressed. Because how can they even penetrate the defense right now of Echo? Because the only way I'm seeing this, as you mentioned, Niceu, a Hail Mary play, isolate one. I don't know who to target. A wraparound. Things just keep on going for Nexplay EVOS problems.
Okay, the good sign here for Nexplay EVOS is that Doming already has his Malefic Roar.
Well, they're going to push them off the best they can here, but look at the damage Ding's receiving just from Benny Cutie here. Still going to be looking for an angle like you're asking here, OSX.
Oh my!
Domang, though, going to get kicked. There's the way the Dragon was used. They're trying to collapse
no.
down here. Sanford going in, can't get the kill just yet. Bobbing and weaving.
Oh,
It's Domang that falls here now. Benny Cutie unleashing with his Almond Force, trying to wipe out NXPE.
Oh!
Immortality gonna be popped. And just like that, triple kill for the Storm, and Echo in full force wiping out NXPE.
A push and a Lord in the mid. How is this for the Orcas?
They found the target. They found Doming. And they found the way to end this with a sweep. In dominating fashion, it's the world champs with a 2-0 victory.
They're saying no. Today, the streak continues for Echo to move forward in the last match that they will go for this day. And it's just keep on going. They're hot already and they're not stopping any moment now.
Echo looks good, and that's an understatement because that's the reason why they're on this streak, right? It's you think you have it figured out against the defending world champions. You know, we can focus on this, we can focus on that. But honestly, for all these teams going against Echo, man, there's way too many boxes you have to check.
Yeah.
To get a game, even get a game against them, right? So right now, Echo full force. They got to be feeling really good so far at this point in the season, showing just how dominating they can be.
Gentlemen, this is, again, a historical season for the Philippines. We have 3 champions in our midst. The World Champs, MSC Champs, the Philippines Champs, all different teams. And it's the first time in M4 where we saw the World Championship winning team coming from not coming from the lower bracket, but not being the champion of the previous MPL season. So the first non-MPL champion to become the world champion, and then now coming back from the World Championship, the first time we've actually seen the World Championship team perform really well to start things off for the season. So it's a season of histories being made here, and Echo continuing the run of dominant form is a sight to behold for everyone.
That jacket buff, man.
Sorry?
It's the jacket buff.
Oh, the
Look at that.
Oh, yeah,
varsity
look at that.
jackets,
You know, you
From
want to win
Japan.
games, get a jacket.
Yeah, from Jakarta to here, it's a buff, right?
I honestly, I was looking for one. I couldn't find one.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't wash them. I mean, sometimes
That's good luck.
That's
Sometimes
good luck.
there's
Good
a
luck.
secret. Like, they don't wash it. Like, I know Michael Jordan barely washed or rarely washed his college uniform under his Bulls uniform. So
Okay.
Victory smells sweet.
if
Okay.
victory smells smells like something. Not that I'm saying that. We don't know. It's just a theory. But like, if I were in their situation, I would not wash those jackets, man.
Yeah.
Keep that power retained.
we call it lucky charm, right? It could
Yeah.
be Echo's lucky charm, the jacket, but right now I'm seeing this team like they have this mindset of not being complacent, right? They have this day zero mindset, like, hey, we've won the world championship, but we're not done yet. The job's not done, and they just keep on perfecting what's missing, what they have lost, what they missed, and this is just purely confidence. It's understatement, right? The word confidence is just, well, one thing, but more of it is more like a team working together to complete what they really want for the season.
Yeah. It's swagger, it's friendship, it's chemistry, it's a lot of things. It's Echo.
To be fair, as the future goes on here with this NXPE squad, I could see them having a similar situation, similar concept, because they have their own version of swagger. They've spent so many years playing together.
Yes.
They are just feeling what it's like to be in, the MPL, like the professional league now. And they're going to take everything that they experience, regardless of how the season continues on for NXPE, and learn so much from it. And I feel like that is something to look out for if you're an NXPE fan. You are a fan of them from back in the amateur scene even. There's so much here, so much potential for that team, but Echo is just unstoppable, and it's time and time again been proven by this Echo squad.
Yeah, for Nexplay EVOS, the mentality, that's what kept them going from the underground scene, or the amateur scene rather, to go and climb their way up top. Because yesterday we saw their performance and how they wanted to polish their mistakes. Maybe this is their way and actually taking a lesson from one match to another. But now let's call it on stage with Mario Aquino together with Echo, loud and proud.
It's clear that this team aims to dominate the league. Congratulations, Echo! Seryoso, meron ba kayong hindi kayang gawin? 5 straight wins in a row! My gosh, by the way, 4 doon, sweep. Alam mo, kailangan ko i-point out, patinig nga rin ang drums. Kaninong idea to? Feeling ko nasa international stage ako Kaninong idea yan?
Kay Ate Mitch po.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Galing M4 yan Yung kantang yan Okay, bakit naisip na, ito ba yung, ako kasi pag naririnig ko yan, ako yung kinakabahan, parang ako yung kalaban nyo
Nakakataas po kasi ng moral, tas feel na feel po namin yung support ng mga fans po.
Okay, nasabi mo nga, nakakataas ng morale, feel na feel yung support, and this is Mitch's idea. By the way, Mitch has been actually not just nominated, she won Executive of the Year. And I have to say, nasan siya? Nandito ba siya? She takes really great care of you guys. Sobrang saya niya nung nanalo kayo ng M4. Iba siya sa ibang na-meet ko. And she speaks highly of every single one of you. Honoring Mitch and how great she is as a leader, what can you say? Kasi alam mo, Sanford, nung nanalo kayo ng M4, ang sabi ni Mitch, sobrang bait mo daw, ang sarap mo daw maging anak, talagang inaalagaan niya kayo. What can you say about her leadership?
Thank you po kasi lagi po kayong andyan para sa amin. Kahit anong mangyari.
Behind every team is a great manager. Did you have something to say?
Ano din po, lagi niya po minimake sure na lagi po kami nakakain sa tamang oras. Tapos, pag may nagka-problema po sa team, kinakausap niya po agad. Isa-isa kami, tapos as a team. Tapos kapag may nagugutom po, tiyatanong niya po agad kung anong gustong kainin, ganun. Basta laging sobrang concern niya po sa amin. Kaya deserve niya po. Tsaka sobrang galing niya din po mag-handle talaga.
That's very well said because not all the teams nagpapakain ng sobrang madami. Tingnan mo naman, busog na busog, lagi sila nananalo. Let's give a round of applause to Mitch. Hindi lang yan, may isa pang award na panalunan ng Echo from the MPL-PH Press Corps Award, Play of the Year. At yan ang play, Benny Cutie backdoor play. My gosh, Benny Cutie. Not only are you MVP, yung mga ginagawa mo na recognize now, there's an award because of that backdoor play. What can you say about that?
Sobrang saya po namin na as a team na na-recognize po as a Play of the Year po yung ginawa namin na backdoor talaga. Kasi kahit marami pong tao na nagsasabi na parang ano ba? Ano ba sinasabi nila?
Ano sabi nila?
Nagagalit kasi parang madaya na parang hindi nakikipaglaban, parang nakipag-push lang. para sa amin para sa akin masasabi ko na high level play yun kasi Kami lang
Exactly.
yung naka-pull off nun sa buong MPL, sa buong tournament.
That's right. And those type of plays, esports is also a mental game. That's strategy as well. So, guys, don't get mad at it if you can't beat it. Now, okay, eto 5 straight wins in a row. Carl, easy ko nga sumagot dito. Sino sa tingin mo ba na talagang mahihirapan kayo? Kasi 4 dun sa 5 na-sweep nyo eh. Meron bang team dito na feeling mo, etong team na to, feeling ko mata-challenge tayo dito ngayong season 11?
Siguro po, Bren Esports po.
Bran, ang dami nagsasabi. Bakit Bran?
Win streak din po sila eh. Tapos sila po yung SEA Games. Tignan po natin lakas nila.
Oh, we're waiting for that. Once again, congratulations, Echo. You may now take your bow and walk to the crowd. Ito na ang tambol. Dun, 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 dun. Alam mo, nakakatuwa because yung Echo cheer na yan nanggaling sa M4. Congratulations once again to the achievements of Echo and all the awards they've been receiving because they are just that outstanding. Let's talk about the game that just happened and go back to our casters. Pasok.
Thank you so much, Mara. That was Echo Philippines, not stopping today with a streak and with 2-0. And Carl teasing with the confidence, man, he's not stopping anytime soon. It's Brand Esports. It's the next target of the Orcas.
They got a target in their eyes.
Yeah,
and
man.
They're getting the steam going. Actually, it's been going.
If y'all can edit this footage, just add like a
Use-on
smoke
train
above
skin.
my head.
Come on, use-on train skin.
But it's always great to see Carl Tizzy answer things like that. It's like, oh, we're looking at Bren because there's the SEA Game squad for the Philippines, so
Oh.
we want to see how strong they are.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's
and
see
that's
how they
great-
do, right?
Yeah, that's great respect for an opponent that they swept earlier in the season, though. Yeah.
Well, that is just purely Echo's confidence with a sweep. Let's break it down with Renmar for his analysis.
All right, y'all, I gotta be honest before y'all clown me and say, oh man, yo, Reptar, you said earlier that Nexplay EVOS' lineup's really great, huh? You're favoring towards them, what you think, huh? And then Echo suddenly won? Okay, let's be honest though, again, I will still die on that hill that the lineup here for Nexplay EVOS, if executed properly, or if Echo weren't able to find the ways to stop them in the early to the mid game, they have the potential of like scaling really well. Why? We saw it in game number 1, and we've seen it historically in the past games here in MPL Philippines. Having the Yuzhong and Farcha together, and then the Melissa, we put a lot of focus on those 2 picks, because those 3 picks rather, because we've seen it before many times work well throughout. Echo can pull that off really well. So maybe it's also because of familiarity on the side of Echo, knowing what they're up against and how they themselves play it. They knew what to do just right. But I really want to revisit here the decisions of Nexplay EVOS with deciding to give turtles early on. The first turtle, yes, they contested well, but then Echo countered. The second turtle, though, they decided to trade, which was a try to get positioning up top for doming in the gold lane to get more damage on the turrets. But the minion waves for them in that scenario weren't there, so what could have been a trade tower for second turtle didn't go in the favor for Nexplay EVOS. So that those decisions, sometimes I'd like to think that Nexplay EVOS, they've leaned in a bit too much on the identity of being a fantastic and tremendous counter-fight type of team. Counter-punish, counter-punch kind of team. We've seen it time and time again all throughout the season so far. They are tremendous at that. But when you're up against a team that loves to set the tempo, that loves to be aggressive, and loves those mid-game power spikes, then those moments of you being able to counter fight at the right moment might not show up here. Yawi gets the MVP case here, 1-0-5 on this show. The game-winning find onto Domeng in the last sequence of the game that led into the wipeout. No wonder why Yawi was able to get the MVP performance here, as well as his ability to single-handedly take down Brusco, leading up to the third turtle, or if I believe that was the first scenario in this game. I'm already mixing up the scenarios of this game, but Yawi had a tremendous performance on this show as usual. It is his signature pick. Slightly struggled at times in the first game. Here now, though, in the second game, this is the kill that we were talking about onto Brusco. And earlier on, it was also a great kick and find there onto Boyet to take him down. So you see here Nexplay EVOS, they were trying, but also it was just Echo being able to counter it and find the situation. That's one of the plays that really stuck out with us here and really felt like after seeing that, those are the moments in a game where you really just think, oh man, this really is looking like it's going to be an Echo game, isn't it? But of course, Nexplay EVOS found a glimmer of hope, again with their signature ability to counter really well. But in the end, it was just a find onto Domeng, who almost held on. You see him, he played this fight really well, but with so much dive on him and how much he had to deal with, he didn't have the abilities and firepower to deal with the magic damage being dished out by Benny Cutie and Sanji. So that's what we're talking about here. Again, revisit the key to victory that we mentioned earlier, gentlemen. Have two major sources of magic damage. Echo had that in the Harith and Valentina. On the side of NXPE, though, they only had one again, and it was just the Farsa.
Can't wait for the rematch, you know,
Yeah.
in the second part of the regular season. That's what I'm really looking forward to because, again, they can look at, NXPE can look at this matchup, this game, and yes, they got swept, but they can actually learn a lot from this because, they had a great composition for that second game. It's just, like you said, I feel like they held on defensively a little too long. You would like to see them be a little more aggressive, but who knows what will happen in their second meetup for the regular season.
You know, take every challenge as a learning curve, as always, in this league. As we meet through and halfway through the regular season, we have 5 more weeks to go. So the next match will be RSG Slate Philippines and Blacklist International. I remember this matchup way back season, but once again, we will be back in a short while. My name is OSX. I'm with Nice and Renmar. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
The 11th season of MPL Philippines is brought to you by the following sponsors. Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL Philippines Season 11. Our official sponsor, Infinix. Infinix Note, ultra-fast gameplay. Our partners in esports, Maya, it's everything, and a bank. And Secret Lab, the official gaming chair of MPL Philippines. Experience the MPL Philippines Season 11 action live at Shooting Gallery Studios. Tickets are now available via tickettome.net. Get yours now. If you missed the matches and want to quickly recap what happened, visit our official website for post-match reports at ph-mpl.com/news. Don't forget to catch all of our official league content on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To ensure the quality and fairness of our games, MPL Philippines is also monitored and supervised by the Games and Amusement Board.
Lahat ng manlalaro, lahat ng teams ngayon ay gustong isemento ang kanilang mga sarili sa kasaysayan ng Mobile Legends sa Pilipinas at talagang uhaw na uhaw para matawag na pinakamalakas sa buong mundo.
Sa baluarte ng pinakamalalakas, panigurado, walang ibang daan kundi pataas. Sa gitna ng dismaya, pagdududa, pagkatalo at pagkadapa, bumabangon ng tunay na malakas. Itinatakda ang may sikmurang magpatuloy, pero basang-basa ka na nila. Wala ka nang mailalabas na hindi pa alam ng lahat. Wala ka nang maluloko dito dahil lumilipas rin ang mga alamat. Kumakalat ang kawalang katiyakan. Ito na ang katapusan ng mga
The 11th season of MPL Philippines is brought to you by the following sponsors. Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL Philippines Season 11. Our official sponsor, Infinix. Infinix Note, ultra-fast gameplay. Our partners in esports, Maya, it's everything, and a bank. And Secret Lab, the official gaming chair of MPL Philippines. Experience the MPL Philippines Season 11 action live at Shooting Gallery Studios. Tickets are now available via tickettome.net. Get yours now. If you missed the matches and want to quickly recap what happened, visit our official website for post-match reports at ph-mpl.com/news. Don't forget to catch all of our official league content on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To ensure the quality and fairness of our games, MPL Philippines is also monitored and supervised by the Games and Amusement Board. Welcome back to the home of the strongest MLBB players in the world. This is MPL Philippines Season 11. Since their entry into the league in Season 6, Renegade and H2O have been together. They've been teammates, they've been brothers. From Nexplay Solid to Nexplay EVOS, they have been inseparable. Through thick and thin, side by side. Pero ngayon, wala munang kapakapatid. Dahil for the very first time since their entry in the league, they will be going up against each other. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the match you've all been waiting for. This is RSG Slate Philippines versus Blacklist International. Here we go. Casters, pasok.
They have started this journey together, and now they're about to face one another. It's Renegade versus H2O in different colors. This is the action of Blacklist International versus RSG Slate Philippines. And welcome back to the English Desk. My name is OSX. I'm with Naisu and Renmar Santa Cruz for the action of the night. Once again, they're meeting off for their first match of the season. RSG and Black.
This is going to be an interesting match just because of that, but not only that. I mean, yes, that's a huge thing, right? But just because also, I feel like Blacklist International, they had to do some adjustments, get used to this lineup that we've actually seen so far, I believe, 2 versions of it. And what Wolf would say, it's plug and play, right?
Yeah.
So they've had to go through that. RSG Slate Philippines as well has had to go through that. So I can't wait overall, across the board, this matchup between these 2 amazing teams.
Yeah, a battle between brothers in H2 and Renegade, but there's also a difference between the 2 teams. Blacklist International with a 3-series win streak. RSG win-loss, trying to find and start a streak of their own.
As we try to decode the match of the night, you can enjoy the power of Smarts when you switch to Smart without changing your number via mobile number portability or MNP. Go ahead, go to smart.ph/switch to Smart to know more. And going back to the thought there, Blacklist International's plug and play, they got a good starting momentum with RSG Philippines. They came from a loss from their last match.
Yeah, they've had their work cut out for them, basically, right? And that's the thing. I feel like specifically with RSG Slate Philippines, they, in a way, a lot of people felt like they were missing parts of that team that we saw rise and eventually, become those MSC champions when they had that, when they still have that title. But it's a different RSG in a way that they play, the execution is there. But when you throw in these new components, a lot of the times you can actually see a lot of beautiful plays, beautiful teamwork. It's just, it's kind of been flippy-floppy for them up to this point.
Yeah, and it's strange because you can sort of say that about Blacklist International in terms of the different members and trying to find that chemistry, except Blacklist has the streak. They were able to find it quicker, the chemistry, the execution to pull it all together and make it work, and now they are in a 3-series win streak. There are 3 teams with streaks, Echo, Bren, and Blacklist. And now going up against RSG, well, there's going to be a test for RSG. Did they wake up well today, or what's going to happen?
Well, if that's the question that this game will be answered, Renegade and H2O connection up on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're seeing the history of these two brothers. You've said the number 3. Well, they're one of the big 3 from Nexplay Solid to Nexplay EVOS. Now, as wearing different colors in the league, they're about to face one another.
You know, the speaking of the history of these two and like their connection and everything, we have to also look at the fact that obviously they're playing different roles, right? So now the impact of that is going to be different for them. Yes, they might know each other very well inside and out. I mean, the fact that they played so long with each other. But as this game actually transitions from early, mid, late game, they're going to have different impacts for them, for their team. And H2O specifically in the jungle is going to be crucial going against, Wise across from him.
Yeah, and hence why I think this matchup is important. It was a great call for Blacklist to slot in Renegade into this game, if he's going to be playing in game number 1 or maybe later on in game number 2, because it's important to know and be very familiar with your opponents in the key roles. 2 key roles lately, XP lane, jungle. H2 knowing how Renegade moves will help RSG. Renegade knowing how H2 moves will be helpful for Blacklist.
Brothers in arms. Now, brothers will face one another in the Land of Dawn. You've thought about connection, right? Connection, synergy. How is it now with Renegade and some of the teams of Blacklist International? Has it been really a good start for them? Because we've seen changes, right?
Yeah, Renegade Blacklist, undefeated. Blacklist has not
Speaks
dropped
for
a game
itself.
with Renegade playing.
See? So we're trying to look for avenues here on how the Hitman, as we call it, as Leo calls it in the English desk, we are now seeing how he will actually work. Because in some games that we saw back in that replay on the graphics, it's more of like how the jungler and the XP lane rotates, which is now a thing. We've seen it in some of the teams who played it in. From one also team to mention was Nexplay EVOS, right?
Yeah. Not only that, but the fact that, like we were talking in previous series, where an XP lane can simply carry a game if they get that start.
Well, speaking of start, let's throw it over to Sona for a courtside report for this match.
Maraming salamat, casters. We are over here at the audience stage once again. At kita nyo at rinig nyo ng paunti-unti ang anticipation para sa final matchup of the day. It's gonna be between RSG Slate Philippines laban sa Blacklist International. And together with us tonight ay ang dalawang dating magkakampi. Pero ngayon ay rivals na. It's none other than H2O from RSG Slate PH and Renegade from Blacklist International. Please make your way. Eto na, andito na sila. Feel ko naman, matagal ng tropa to. Tutusin nga dapat nandito si Renegade pagkatabi sila. Anyway, Renegade, there's been, a lot of moments na naging magkakampi kayo ni H2O. And congratulations, H2O, by the way, kasi nakuha niya yung Sportsmanship of the Year Award given by MPL Philippines Press Corps. And kita niyo naman, di ba? Major recognition. So, talk us through it. Kamusta ba si H2O as a teammate nung magkakampi pa kayo dati sa Nexplay?
Mabait. Hindi, joke lang. Parang kapatid ko na siya. Tsaka si Yawe. Kami tatlo. Kasi sobrang close namin. Vibes kami sa lahat ng mga bagay na gusto namin.
And it does show naman dun
And
sa...
deserve niya yun, deserve niya. Deserve niya yung sportsmanship,
I just wanna know, deserve ba ni H2O yun, guys? I feel like yes. And Renegade acknowledges that one too. And this time, nabanggit ni Renegade yung bond na meron kayo as not only as teammates but also as brothers. And mula sa social media posts ninyo, nakikita naman namin na madalas kayong mag-hangout kahit na hindi naman talaga kayo nagiging magkakampi sa loob ng Land of Dawn. So, kamusta yung build-up nyo as the Nexplay Big 3 to who you are as a player?
Yung band talaga namin ng Big 3 talagang solid outside the game. Pero ngayong inside the game, Jay, wala mo ng tropa-tropa. Yun, good luck sa atin. Bigyan natin magandang laban yung mga fans.
Right. Wala muna ng tropa-tropa. And again, it's very understandable because a lot of things are at stake for the final matchup of the day. Renegade, speaking of which, hindi lang kayo yung rivals today. It's the team that you are currently belonging with. Blacklist International, ang hinihintay nila ay yung kanilang pagkakataon para muling makabalik sa MSC and hopefully claim the throne from there. So, ngayon na nasa bago ang team, you're gonna be forming new bonds. How do you do that? Kasi parang umalis ka sa comfort zone mo with being with Nexplay for a lot of seasons in your career?
Nung una, syempre, nakakapanibago. Pero sa team ko naman ngayon, sobrang dali lang din mag-adjust kasi Madali ko lang din sila nakaklose.
Okay.
Parang kami-kami lang din.
Parang kayo lang din. So, somewhat very natural ang naging approach ni Renajay with his new teammates, and I'm sure that is also the same para kay H2O. And H2O, this time around, ang gusto ng iyong team ay muling makabalik naman sa MSC because you are the reigning and defending champions from last year. So, ano yung sa tingin mong magiging contributions mo, lalo na ngayon ay parte ka ng isang kilalang squad, not only in the Philippines but also in Southeast Asia?
Siguro yung mga natutunan ko dati sa mga team ko dati, ayun yung may contribute ko sa RSG. Tsaka may unting pressure din na maging part ng RSG kasi parang ayun, MSC champion nga sila tsaka MPL season 9 champion. Pero alam ko naman sa sarili ko na kaya ko may pagsabayan and yun, tsaka yun.
Well, I guess makikita natin yan maya-maya lamang. Renajay versus H2O. Blacklist International versus RSG Slate Philippines. Ano pang hinihintay natin? Bata na natin sa ating mga casters.
Thank you so much, Sona, for that interview, man. Seeing them together brings a lot of memories. How this league started, how their roots was created. Now, we're talking about synergy, we're talking about connection. I think the adjustment from these two players wasn't a problem transitioning to their own teams.
Yeah, I think both of them fit really well where they are now, right? And if you notice with Season 11, that's like the trend. We talk a lot about these old rivalries, these old brotherhoods, where they stand now and kind of the development that they've gone through. And I think that's what's so interesting, especially about this season, is seeing where everybody falls into place and how successful they can fit in these new roles, these new rosters, and where they go from here. Because already, first half of the season is almost over, right? And we're seeing the adjustments, the settlements happen here with these teams. And that's what I can't wait to see unfold, especially in this matchup here.
Yeah, these two players have tremendous personalities. They're the type that gets along with pretty much anyone. So it's no surprise that, of course, we've spoken a lot about how H2 seems so much happier, or he seems just as happy as he was in Nexplay EVOS here in RSGPH. And then, of course, for Blacklist International, there were questions with how the Hitman will fit into the roster. So it's no surprise as well that he's happy with Blacklist and that they've opened his arms to him. Their personalities really are just like, I'm going to do my best to be friends and great teammates with everyone I work with.
Yeah, not just that. He also, H-Show said that let's give everyone a good show because they were brothers, yes, but in this fight, let's keep it a different way as we face off today, right? So as we dig on what's going to happen in this match, let's throw it over to our analyst for our keys to victory for this match. Man, I am feeling the heat and tension right now as these two teams come up on stage. But now let's start with RSG Slate Philippines. Nothing has changed. It's the same lineup for this match.
Yeah, these guys are locked and loaded, ready to prove that they're ready to start a streak of their own, right? Again, fighting for that show of dominance that they have to, that people are sort of expected from them, and they had to find their footing, and we'll see if they found it here in this matchup.
Might take them some time. They have shown the flashes of brilliance, skill, tenacity that serves as a reminder as to why this team is the MSC champions, the defending champions. It's not exactly the same lineup that they fielded during that tournament. However, we have seen the potential. They just need to find the consistent run of form to get those win streaks going.
Speaking of new form, one thing I noticed in that entrance is Renny J pulled up a water bottle that Yaoi did back in Season 8. Now he's doing it up against H2O.
Yep, there's some hidden language there, if you will, right? But it's of course Super Red, Wise, Renegade, UA, and Oh My Venus. And man, who could forget the play that we had earlier this week? Oh My Venus with that 4-man stampede pole, allowing the rest of the team to capitalize on that. That is something that RSG Slate Philippines has to watch out for. Those moments from Oh My Venus and the rest of the squad.
Yeah, the queen, the king of the jungle. Of course, UA has really solidified themselves as a trio to watch out for here. Super Red, he's going to be going up against the MSC 2022 MVP. So this is going to be another addition to the checklist of trials for Super Red, going up against some of the best gold laners in the world. Looking at the team head-to-head, most banned against Blacklist International. Estes, Diggy, Lolita, Kaja, of course one was there, but it just goes to show how many teams respect the picks of the queen. On the side of RSG, the Kadita for Exort is deadly. Joy taken out as well, but of course teams are considering how well Light can dish out that Kaja. So very similar heroes in certain aspects, but these two teams have very different playstyles.
Well, speaking of playstyle, now we go up for the radar or even the ratio of how Blacklist International RSG Slate Philippines rotate. On the kill participation, it's always about RSG having the 7.19%. But on the other side, it's more like of a complete way of baking a bread here for Blacklist International. Have everything in team fights and objective takes.
Bake the bread.
Yep.
We're going to see if the bread gets baked here, right? But the thing that RSG Slate Philippines has to actually watch out for, too, is contesting those lords, right? Again, you're against a jungler who is quote-unquote called the king of the jungle for a reason, right? So Wise obviously wants to, every single time, fight for those lords, secure them. We know they have mastered that lord dance.
Yeah.
So this is where that work comes in, especially for H2O and the rest of the team, to allow them to contest, if not take, those objectives later on in the game to secure themselves, hopefully, a victory here going against Blacklist International.
RSG shouldn't lose their tenacity and assertiveness with the plays before objective fights, but they have to be very fundamental and principled in the objective fights. The Lords and the Turtles, Blacklist are tremendous at that. Legendary at this point with how well they deal objective fights like that. RSG needs to play a near perfect game, while Blacklist International needs to watch out for those surprise setups that RSG are also well known for.
Surprise setups. We've seen one on the last match, right? Nice at how Oh My Vita started everything in the midst of chaos. But as we dig deeper to these matches, let's throw it over to our analyst on what will be our keys to victory for this match.
Kalakip ng strategy ay ang proper execution. Kaya naman para magawa ang execution na yon, importante ang ating keys to victory hatid ng Infinix. Para sa side ng RSG, try to build a side lane or mid lane, lead fast. Again, sa lahat ng mga laban, importante manalo side lane or mid lane dahil ang magiging outcome nito is magiging mabilis ang rotation ng kanilang team. For RSG, it has been proven sa lahat na naging laro nila na kapag si Nats ang isa sa mga initiator ng kanilang laro, ay para bang yung buong mapa ng kanilang kalaban ay kanyang napupuntahan. So very crucial rin para sa kanila para maging mas madali na rin para kay H2O na mag-rotate doon sa other objectives or para mapigilan ang pagtaba ni Wise or pag-farm doon sa kanyang jungle area. Para sa side naman ng Blacklist International, black out the Light, dry out H2O. Again, Light has been playing well for the side of RSG. Kaya naman nagiging mas madali para kay H2O mga kailangan niyang gawin. Pero pag napigilan ang rotation ni Light, ibig sabihin hindi or matutuyot ang tubig ng side ng RSG Philippines. At para sa ating dalawang teams, Dance the Night Away with Turtles and Lords, or Turtles and Lords. It's all about objectives. Kung makikita natin yung team head-to-head statistics, medyo malayo ang discrepancy in terms of objective taking, kaya kailangan manalo ang ating mga teams pagdating doon. Yan ang ating Infinix Keys to Victory. So sino nga bang team ang aangat? Ibalik muna natin kasama mga casters.
Thank you so much, smiling Chantel Adams. I wasn't expecting for her to smile in that dark vibe. Even I can't help myself to laugh, but that was one of the keys to victory for that match. One thing stood out: Dance the Night Away.
Yeah. It's a great song. And also, at the same time, a very viable strategy that they need to do. We were talking about it right before we threw to the keys to victory, how important those Lord and objective dances will be.
Not only that, but the fact that they have to be able to secure mid lane dominance if they can. Honestly, either team that secures that mid lane dominance then starts that momentum, whether it's in synergy with the roam or their junglers, if they can do that, establish themselves here, the team will have the upper hand. Because even with the kind of trend that Blacklist International has been having lately, honestly, matchup, we saw it from the stats, the stat breakdown, right? The two circles, even as we take a look at the player head-to-head here, they're pretty well matched across the board.
Yeah, by just one digit. Wise and H2O, a player head-to-head. Junglers for this, a world-class jungler, plus this one for H2O. Now, what's the difference here? A bit of just 1 point, Renmar.
Yeah, I want to see here RSG consider giving H2 some more assassins. Historically, teams have struggled against Blacklist International when they're playing assassins, although it is very possible. Unless, of course, full faith in H2 to stand toe-to-toe with Wise. It will be a difficult battle.
Yep.
But that's the edge that H2 has here over Wise in terms of recent heroes showed. Wise, of course, we all know very well. He does have history of playing assassins and is tremendously talented at that. But when it comes to the league, the professional scene, he really favors a lot of those fighter, tanky jungler types to use in the jungle. So H2, you already have a history of showing those in the previous seasons. Here in RSG, you've played a lot more tanky fighter type of junglers. Try to bring back those assassins as well. See if that might shake things up for Blacklist International and, well, for RSG when they play with it.
Assassins. Well, one thing that we've observed from the games of Blacklist International, it's more like of a utility one. Like we have the Fredrin. Now we want to see more of the aggressive wave that Blacklist International can handle up against RSG Slide Philippines. Now we're on the blue side. RSG, they got priority in the first pick.
Yeah, considering how things are going, I still think we're going to see Fredrin locked in here as soon as possible, right? Probably not going to be banned out, because that's the thing. If both teams know, like, hey, we got to win these Lord dances, these turtle dances, well, that's the thing about these tanky utility type junglers. They allow for the best version of that dance, right? The best time of that dance, because what we've seen, anytime a team does go with the assassin jungles, then it's really difficult to actually contest those, because you're going to be focused down, stunned up, CC'd, taken quite low, and then there's that whole risk factor of getting that retribution actually off.
Yeah, and I like that RSG from out of the gate banned this Diggy. I don't want to see them give this to Blacklist International. They will struggle up against it. You have to respect how Oh My Venus plays this Diggy. Yesterday during the day of Diggy, well, great Diggy performances all throughout, and I'm sure you could get that as well from the Queen, of course, with the Impure Rage, Divine Glaive type of build for Diggy. That's just pure damage. They take away the Faramis as well. I want to see them consider taking away either the Valentina, and of course, gotta consider taking out the Estes there. So Valentina or Estes, either or, I'm okay with. If they open the Estes, though, they have to be dang well ready, because that Estes absolutely tore things up during the M4 World Championship.
Yeah, every day. We experience it every day, even in our games. Now, even for this matchup, they need to be wary of those consequences if you are RSG. The challenge here is they're on the blue side, so they have their way of their own to prioritize the most effective strategy that they can build upon this draft. What will it be? Will it be a utility choice for H2, or will it be the assassin? Because this opens up not a lot of ways for our Blacklist International to gamble for their for their first two picks. Now, another respect man though for Light with this Franco. So another setup for Fredrin here for RSG.
From RSG, they decide to pick up the Joy. Kaja is open here for Blacklist International. Valentina as well. So might be Valentina Fredrin, maybe Kaja Fredrin, one of those 3 heroes. I won't take it against Blacklist International for picking something else, though. Maybe pick up something for Renegade right away, or they might save that. I'm really looking at Kaja, Fredrin, and Valentina as a potential. Maybe
There's a Cho as well.
Oh, there is a Cho, but I also want to talk about, Yuzhong, the Lapu, right? So there it is. Renmar on point. Kaja Valentina.
Renmar's predictions are on a streak, man. We haven't seen this time that Kaja has been loose. So Blacklist, with this opportunity, you take it. Now you have 2 things to be worried about. You have Valentina, you have Kaja.
Yeah.
Now, Melissa, still a secure 1 for RSG.
Well, if I'm RSG here, it's tough because Eve is great against Valentina Kaja, but then that means you're also giving the real-world manipulation to Blacklist International. But just the thought of having an Eve and Melissa together in the backline will be great. Farsa, Melissa, of course, we've been seeing all throughout the season, might also be a good choice. I'd want to see them pick up their mid laner already and not go into the second phase without it. But it looks like they're not going to go for that. They pick up the glue.
Okay.
So with the glue and Joy on the board,
is this
it might be a roam glue or even, well, maybe even a mid lane glue like how Sanji showed
Sanji played it, yeah.
Those are 2 possibilities, yeah.
Well, you could also, I don't know if it would happen, right? You park maybe even Joy in the jungle. Or we've even seen Joy go in the mid lane. Like that is also, so what they're doing is they're leaving that flexibility option there. And I feel like, with obviously the last 2 picks, we'll get the curveball and we'll get to see where those settle in because, now that Sanji has played glue in the mid lane and with quite, successful performance, it's a possibility there.
Either way, this could actually be a flex for RSG Slate Philippines. Oh, carry, okay. Not more on their hitman side of choices. Now, the carry here, they're on their way of securing their marksman early on, which is a good thing too because you have the glue, you have the Joy. Probably you want to have the shredder power, right? But in most of the teams, carry has been studied so, well, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot more deeper than anyone. Like, they can let this hero loose and to counter it early on.
Yeah, RSG also need to consider that this Kaja might actually go into the jungle in the hands of Wise. Not necessarily a roamer there.
Yeah.
So now Blacklist International, I like how they actually saved their XP laner pick for the second phase. They are still considering all the possibilities with the Joy and then the glue around who's going to go where. And now they're also respecting the hero picks here of Light. So we were talking earlier in the Keys to Victory, brought to you by Infinix, that Chantel brought up, that the members of Blacklist International, or RSG rather, they need to try and build a side lane or mid lane lead fast. So Blacklist are respecting the idea by taking away the 2 great and iconic pick-off heroes for Light, and then of course the iconic pick-off hero for Exort, which is the Kadita.
Kadita, for Light, we have the Atlas still open.
Atlas is still open.
Ban out the Cho, they ban out the Franco, Atlas still loose. So, okay, since Alice Jungle is making a lot of noises in some places, this is one of the things that RSG is looking after for possible consequences. Because we still don't know, Blacklist International doesn't have that jungler choice yet, right? So in these last 2 bans, they can either shrink down the choices of Light and Exort, as you've mentioned. Natalia could still be open. Oh, Ling. Okay, eyes on H2.
Respecting the assassin pickup, so Blacklist International also went into this series with that idea. Like, guys, we're up against H2. Maybe, let's take away the Ling just in case.
I would love to still see, again, we don't 100% know where the Joy is going because Joy can jungle, but I would love to see an assassin in the hands of H2O here, especially because I think it is possible that this Kaja goes in the hands of Wise. We've seen him do it before. He plays the Kaja in the jungle. So that's what I like about this so far. Within the first phase, there's a lot of question marks that we don't know about.
Oh, wow, look at this. Big 3, all complete in the studio, supporting everybody right in the audience.
Oh, look at that cat.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, going back to the draft here. They don't want that Lapu out. They have the glue, secure the XP lane. Now what's in for Renegade now?
The sure thing is we're going to see a hero that Renegade hasn't played yet this season. Because the 2 heroes Renegade played this season are the glue and the Lapu.
Okay, open the books for the Hitman.
I literally feel like when he does play the Lapu, that's literally the Hitman. Like, the style that you play Lapu Lapu is Renegade right there. So I can't wait to see what he brings out here. Benedetta.
Interesting.
You know, is this the true plug and play
Uh-huh.
that we're talking about? You know?
Yeah. Well, if you want to buy something out of the bookstore, this is one straight answer.
Benedetta.
Benedetta,
Very
okay, for
interesting
NJ.
choice. Okay, so it's the same idea that Blacklist will need that here to either split or just really apply that a lot of pressure. Simple job. Elect a final blow, petrify, get on out of there.
Yeah.
You've done your job as a Benedetta. It's up to Blacklist International to answer that. The last pick of Blacklist International, though, will be very interesting. Again, they can flex that Kaja. Are they going to go for a really tacky jungler? Is the Kaja going to go roam? So many questions. A lot of flexibility as well for Blacklist, but RSG.
Oh!
The assassin.
You have it.
Pick up the Hayabusa for H2, and now the Kufra for Light.
So it's a Joy mid.
So it's a...
Unless it is
Yeah.
glue. Unless it is glue. Joy XP, Joy glue, or yeah, Joy XP.
Yeah.
I'm still wondering.
And I think they're going to adjust it based on whatever this last pick is going to be, so they're going to see.
Yeah, that's the flexibility that Coach Panda is playing up against Blacklist International. You have that secure answer. Whatever goes to the mid lane of Blacklist, because we also seen Valentina in the jungle back last season, but I'm not in the meta right now. It might not fit well, but depends on how will they want to execute it on the last 4 seconds of this ban. That's a Lolita for the Queen.
Okay.
All right. Signature pickup there for Oh My Venus. And, okay, we have to talk about the RSG lineup here. Blacklist International, they have shown this variation already before. It's going to be a jungle, Kaja, and a Joy mid.
Yep.
Which is going to be quite risky here, I have to admit. Because if they're not careful, a Blacklist is going to run away with a lead.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought that Glue might actually go into the mid lane here as an anchor in that mid lane, and then Joy can just go around in the side lanes. But now with Joy in the mid lane, it's quite greedy, and RSG cannot allow this game to the point where maybe 6 or 7 minutes in, it's a 4K gold lead for Blacklist. If that happens, Blacklist has run away with it at that point.
Oh, okay. So we're seeing possibilities of these Glue pick could either be in the mid or the XP. But now let's see how their choices go as we go to the first game of this matchup. Let's see. Where is the Glue going to be? It's going to be in the XP, in the hands of Nats.
Okay, so sort of, again, it could have been flex, but they decided to go with it. I would have also liked to see Joy in the XP lane, but they probably have a different game plan here.
Yeah.
Now, biggest game plan that has to be made with this assassin pick for H2O on that Hayabusa, if you can get the momentum going in your favor, get an early kill, that's going to be huge here.
Yeah, and now the more I think about it, though, it does make much more sense that Exort's playing the Joy in mid, because Exort has that assassin mentality, killer mentality as a mid laner. Oh, he has to be careful here, though.
Well, it could backfire on you as he goes down. First blood going to the hands of Renegade. As you were saying, Renmar, he's got that killer mentality, but maybe a little bit too killer this early on.
Yeah, up against Blacklist International, you really have to pick your moments well.
Well, speaking of moments, early game, you don't want to have that over and over again. If you were Joy, you would need that level. You would need that gold onto your lane, because on how Blacklist International is rotating, the pressure is on the mid lane. They know how Exort can be deadly on how we say it, but Wise here.
Oh, they got to be careful. He goes back in. Nav's going to fall here. H2O deciding not to use the shadow kill just yet. So another kill being picked up here for Blacklist International, going to the hands again of Renegade.
A dangerous start here. We saw what can happen to a team if there is someone in the XP lane that deals a lot of damage, who has a hot start. RSG cannot give any more kills there onto Renegade, but down bottom, Eamon is doing quick word of Super Red.
Yeah, they got that, and that's exactly what they needed. H2O grabbing a kill there. Nice secured, a lot of poking that Eamon was able to do. Now Exort working with Oh My Venus here, but looks like they're just going to give up the turtle first one of the game. Not that big of a deal here. but RSG still looking to make plays across the map.
Yeah, you've mentioned, Renmar, about the hot start that RG that needs to happen. With Hayabusa present here, we expect HU to be more aggressive. How he can easily be around the map, dictate some ways how to steal some objectives, lead Blacklist to a different state that it could either be a trap or a losing point. But on how the code rotates, this is pressuring Nats to even a mid to bottom lane.
Yeah, right now with the movements of both teams, the gold laners have been pretty much left to their own devices. And as we see, Emman still absolutely in control. Blacklist, I wonder if they're going to start answering that right away, or they're still just going to rely on the idea that, hey, we are tremendous at taking the objectives. Turtles might not be a big problem for us, so let's just trust Super Red. We'll be able to get through it, and then we'll just control the rest of the map. It looks like that's the game plan right now for Blacklist.
Okay, Wise on the plan to cross the one who will set up the bridge.
Oh,
for Blacklist.
Make a play here. Electro
2 against
final.
1.
Whoa. Nice by. The brothers meet again top side, but this time H2O able to grab the kill himself. There you go, RSG coming back into the game with that early lead that was in favor of Blacklist International.
Okay, so how RSG are playing right now, so you can see there why Hayabusa is such a strong pickup. Get caught off guard at just the wrong moment in lane, one shadow kill, and there's no teammates nearby. That's going to be dangerous for you.
Oh, speaking of danger.
Oh, man, they get the ultimates out here. They're in a bad position. It's 4 members. Blacklist International, but they're going to call it off. XOR was ready there, though, but still, that was a good way to avoid a bad situation for RSG.
Yeah, the pressure goes on with the code. It's all about top, mid, and bottom, but with the time that they buy for the lanes for Super Red is really working effectively. Now, putting RSG to respond, and as you said, the perfect moments matter if you're a Raider right now because you need a damage. You need something to poke out or to trade some skills if you're against this lineup of Blacklist International.
Right now, they want to press the situation here for the next turtle. Light finds the target. Ooh. It's Oh My Venus that falls here. RSG with the numbers advantage, but still, there's a lot of low health bars here. H2O going to go ahead and work on this turtle. Might be better if Blacklist International just gives it up. Light going to charge up here. H2O, we will secure the turtle. Light goes in, finds Wise. Does he have the backup he needs here? There's a lot of bodies here. Renegade with Electro final blow. They're going to call it off for now. He goes in. Can he get the kill? H2O can't grab it against Renegade.
Great play by both teams. But RSG, that's the killer mentality. But the counter by Blacklist.
I got your back. XOR's got H2O's back, but now there's RSG falling back from Blacklist trying to push forward. Meanwhile, Light here tries to hold on with Emman.
Yeah, the rest of the members here, Light trying to get back the best he can. It's 4 though, Blacklist International. Light can't get away. Super Red picking up a kill.
Oh, wow. So much action right now. These two teams are answering each other quickly. We talked about how earlier RSG has the penchant for making those surprise plays before the objectives, after the objectives. Blacklist, I like how they're countering it right away. They're not taking their time. They're not playing cautiously or defensively. They're being aggressive about it.
H2O again.
Speaking of aggressive, there you have it up top. Targets on Hitman the Renegade.
Action all across the map. And this is the factor we were talking about. Renegade knows H2 really well, but H2 also knows Renegade really well.
But wait, he was focusing on the kills onto Renegade. Is that kills worth if you're Hayabusa now as early as 6 minutes?
Oh yeah, already has a Hunter Strike on him. Wise just 600 gold behind, of course, as expected on the Kaja. It's going to be a tanky build, but it's the utility of that. Nats still getting punished.
Yep, Nats going to use that split to get out of there. Should be just fine though, but again, going back to the point, right? Is it enough? Are those kills that H2O is getting? Yeah, especially when you're on this assassin jungler here. They're going to be focusing again on Renegade, forcing him out. We'll have to see if he actually gives up this turret here, knowing that Light. Does he actually know? Now he should know Light is there. Yeah. Light did charge up, didn't commit to it. Top side though. Nats going to be in trouble. The Terrify's there. Exort there to back him up. UA could be quite low. Wise though, looking to clap back.
To Joyce.
Gets the pull. Divine Judgment. Exort's going to fall along with the turret.
All right, so Blacklist are going to commit the trade. They're going to go topside while RSG get another free turtle. So it's 2 turtles to 1, but already Blacklist International has broken 2 towers in this game, both of them side lanes.
Well, is this trade going to be worthy as they keep on doing this? Because right now, RSG needs to break down turrets, right? They have taken down one down bottom, right? No, not yet. It was hovered by NJ. But now the defense of Blacklist still is up because one thing that's being a problem here is the pressure.
Oh,
They
Naps.
freely rotate, and that's going to be in trouble.
He should be able to survive that as he does. Xort going to jump in here. Doing everything that John can. Light finds Wise. Can they follow up? H2O joining the party. Pops the shadow kill. Still working. On Oh My Venus grabs the double. H2O is on fire. 5-0-1.
Oh, this is why we were talking about H2. Hey, maybe bring up an assassin again. He scores the double kill, and Blacklist, they knew that this was coming. They respect banned the Ling that H2 has made a name for himself playing before. The Hayabusa was open. He took it. Now he's 5-0-1.
He's fire right now. Look at the items just here. By just looking at on our screens, he has more advantage to be more confident in getting those invade, right? The jumps, he makes a Blacklist International confused on who to target right behind their backline here, because they have the strength. Yes, they have the good choice in their line, but the damage right now of Super Red and Yue is not showing as at the moment.
It will take some time, although we've seen Yue pops off in the most unexpected moments, hence why he has a fair share of MVP performances under his belt. If I'm not mistaken, 2 right now for Blacklist International, or 1 crucial one. Here's Light!
Oh, Light going to charge up, finding the target. Wise going to fall here. Xort still working on Yue. Can he survive this? Backs off. Tier 1 turret still there. Again, Light with the setups here on this Kufra working out so well. Now it's RSG working on that Tier 1 turret. They take it down. Lord now up here.
RSG, their trend this season is, yes, it's win-loss, but out of every loss, they learn so quickly, adjust really quickly, and now it's showing. Now, 9 minutes in, they have a 3,000 gold lead. It's not a big one just yet, but the fact that H2 is 5-0-1 means Blacklist really needs to pick their fights and be careful, because if not, if they can't get their key targets down or they can't find H2 in a team fight, suddenly it's going to get turned around by 1 shadow kill.
Well, they need to hold this through, because if that is being mentioned on the table, the damage of RSG right now could be high on how these items would spike in the defense of Blacklist. So if they can hold on to this Lord push as they can actually wait for the items that needed, especially for this carry, right? You need to have more ways of amplifying that speed, right? The attack speed and also that passive. Mainly that will work on the line of RSG, knowing that they could be tanky as the game goes by. But let's see how they hold this through.
Let's see the RSG right now. Eman is Eman is very happy right now with the amount of items and damage he can dish out. He is in his zone right now. It's up to RSG to just not be to not make a mistake here. Be careful and respect Wise's ability to pull with someone with a Divine Judgment, and of course a Numenon Blast coming in from the Queen. RSG still need to be careful here, but of course not so careful. They can be a little bit confident. I mean, look at their lead now. It has ballooned to 7,000 at this point.
It's massive, right? I mean, even just looking at the player gold, you're not surprised to see H2O there on the top, making play after play. It would be crucial for Blacklist International to shut H2O down if they can, but the way that he's been playing, he's not even putting himself that much in danger. He usually shows up at the right time, pops that shadow kill, and profits off of that. So for Blacklist International, they're going to, like you guys mentioned, need to buy time here, allow Super Red to get the items that he needs. And even Yue, do we see him pop off at a crazy moment? Hold on, Light, going to find Renegade. The Hitman going to get out of there just fine. So luckily, doesn't fall here. And we're back to it.
Yeah, sends him back, but with Renegade back into the base, gives RSG just a little bit more room to maybe get some pushes in, a bit more control, but Benedetta gets around so quickly in the map. RSG decides to play cautiously. Blacklist International, they commit this conceal play. No dice. RSG are hovering around mid.
You just wanted to give vision here, because if we were talking about how RSG's spike here on team fighting the capability, yes, it's scary now. So the mindset of possibly the players of Blacklist International right now is either to isolate 2 or 1, because in team fights they have the way of isolating with Wise ultimate. But Renegade here, speaking of out of position, will he be the one to go down here.
He's got everybody's attention. Renegade going to try to last as long as he can. Wasn't that long at all. Falls bottom side. They had the attention. Now Exort there just providing the information they needed. A little bit too late, right? Blacklist International able to get that respond right away, knowing now the Lord is up.
Okay.
Ooh.
What's the game plan now?
I'm surprised actually that Yoi decided to damage the light there. I thought they'd hold off, wait for the pull, because it looked like it was prime position for Blacklist International to catch Light off guard. But then again, they are respecting the 7K gold lead. Oh, he missed!
Yep, Light's going to miss that
Missed
one.
the jump.
So still, Blacklist International looking for an angle they can, but look at the damage. Emon's able to pop out already. Renegade still bottom side. They got to be careful how they approach it.
Oh, the Lord!
The Lord.
The Lord is like completely on the side of Blacklist, knocking one out. I can feel the appeal of RSG. If somebody from Blacklist International would be up close. Look at Wise, just being careful. All My Venus has something here.
They might.
What would it
just
be?
Give
Oh,
this
he finds
up.
it!
He finds Wise. He falls. Emon with the kill, and now the collapse happens. Light's gonna fall this time. Super Red with a kill. Exort on the backside, finding all the targets he needs to. H2O is godlike, and it's a wipeout. The Blacklist International team has fallen.
That's game. That looks like game. RSG. Again, surprising. Eman is the man ranked first in average damage dealt and damage dealt per minute. You saw how quickly he scaled. You saw the godlike by H2, the setups by the members of RSG, by Light as they focus on the base. They take game one with dominating tenacity.
There goes the Raiders, getting the slow and comeback win from the challenges of weeks. Now they slowly getting their one up against Blacklist.
Man, that was a dominating game.
Yeah.
And on the start there of H2O on this Hayabusa pick, we said it when we got into the game. Hey, if he gets rolling that snowball effect and gets those early kills on the Hayabusa, the guy's going to unleash.
Yeah, and with all the pressure Blacklist applied in other parts of the map, they couldn't pressure H2.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about it. The lineup of RSG is risky in that Blacklist can also snowball. But what we didn't get to mention was, well, RSG can snowball if Hayabusa isn't caught here. And again, that's credits to how H2 and Light specifically played this game. Light on point with the setups out of nowhere, but H2 super patient with his Hayabusa play. He wasn't over aggressive. He really timed it so well.
Yeah, timed it so well, and also how they completely rotate from minute 1 to 5, right? We were expecting him to wait for that level 4 to pop up and become more aggressive. And one thing that was a problem side of Blacklist International was they were lacking that vision, right? They were lacking that information. Where the hell of the members of RSG are coming from? It was pressure that was dictating everything from that fight.
Not only that, but there was a lot of cross-map action early on, but it just RSG came out on top with the decisions.
It's just RSG, the Raiders, on a full dominance. Game number 1. What happened there, Renmar? Break it down.
All right, so here's what we talk about when we consider the trades, the crucial trades that happen at either second or third turtle. The tendency is, if teams cannot directly engage in that turtle, they will sacrifice a turtle and then go push a lane up top. That's one of the things that it was a good call by Blacklist, but RSG handled with very well. We also have to go way back quickly to what Eman did in the gold lane against Super Red. Super Red struggled in the laning phase, as expected when it's a Karina versus Melissa matchup at times. But Eman, with the comfort pick in the Melissa, he got his corrosion scythe 2 minutes before Super Red got his. So that pretty much tells you how quickly Eman was able to scale and why he was rotating quickly. By minute 5, 6, he was already going into the mid lane because of just how well in control he was. And at that point, Super Red already was going alongside the other members of Blacklist to get farm in other parts of the jungle, while Renegade was the one left with clearing duty in the what used to be the gold lane at that point. Of course, laning phase already done. So, it happened this way because Eman got the snowball. Light on fire with the setups, got the snowball. H2 got the snowball. Again, I still get so many questions about asking me what's a snowball. It's the ability of one team to scale quickly, get their items quickly, and just hurt sooner than later. Like before 10 minutes, you already feel the damage. That happens a lot with lineups that get early double kills, triple kills, and that's exactly what H2 got. Again, we were talking about H2 and Renegade, the factor in this matchup. But of course, H2 has to go up against Wise, one of the best junglers in the world, the king of the jungle as we call him. But this time around, H2 playing an assassin. This, for the first time this season, an assassin such as like this. Someone who made a name for himself as someone who's a talented Lancelot, Ling user. Of course, Ling was banned. He brought out the Hayabusa here. It was a great pickup by RSG. Full faith in their newest player, their newest jungler, and H2 delivered, reminding us why at some point, even though he dipped, he was touted as one of the best up-and-coming junglers in MPL Philippines. Nay, just the Philippines as a whole. And now H2, gotta show it here. Inconsistent this season, but he damn well deserves this MVP performance. Even though Light was helping with the setups as well, and he set the tempo with pressuring Wise. The 702 KDA, the perfect entry, knowing when to commit the shadow kill, knowing when to show yourself, and knowing when to just say, sorry guys, I'm a back off here. I will just try to make a play elsewhere. And he did that early on. Of course, that early gank into Super Red was great. There's so many discussions about gold laners this season. Of course, we talked about the matchup earlier between Benecutie and Doming, and the best gold laners this season differentiate themselves with their patience. This time around, though, we got to see a jungler who was incredibly patient. He could have just dashed in willy-nilly everywhere, tried to get the kills right away, but he really picked his moments. And it would be in the moments where he would see that someone in the side of Blacklist International is down to 50%, while the other members of Blacklist are down to maybe 60 to 40, because he knows his shadow kill will come in big in those scenarios. The patience, the skill that H2 showed here as a Hayabusa was the clincher for RSG. Going back to the keys to victory checklist here, we didn't mention the assassins, but we did mention these. Try to build a side lane, mid lane lead fast. Eamon built a side lane lead fast. Mid lane though, it was more Blacklist controlling that. Black out the Light, dry out H2. Light was in full beam mode right here. H2 was just, it wasn't a dry game, that game was wet with how much damage and resources he was getting. And they did not get to dance the night away with the Turtles and Lords because RSG were just doing TikToks before the Lords and the Turtles, setting up their own great plays individually and as a team, as a trio. Amazing performance by RSG.
There was a lot of light and a lot of water.
High beam. Yeah.
High beam. Full blast.
I can imagine him from H2O being Aquaman soon. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be. Well, he's water and he could be king. Who
Last
knows?
game, he's Ninja Man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of Ninja Man, though, Hayabusa, we've seen H2 struggle back in the season. Now in a complete form, we're seeing development on how he wanted to do with his new team. And it's working really, really well. And you've mentioned earlier, Renra, on your analysis that in some points in the early game, Blacklist International were like creating these early game ganks. Was it really that worth it? And they wanted to do those pickoffs early on.
Oh, definitely it was. It's just that, again, Blacklist were making the right ganks. They were making the right calls. But RSG were able to keep it so that if they would gank, they were always ready to trade or they wouldn't lose so much.
Okay.
And that was crucial, that if they're going to lose a team fight, if you're going to get ganked, don't lose so much that it's going to build a lead for Blacklist International. They stayed cool, calm, and collected, even though Blacklist had tremendous setups of their own. Of course, early on, the aggression was on their side. But then RSG, once they hit the power spike, once they saw H2 was unkilled yet, it's like, all right, let's fight.
Yeah, and that gives them a go signal on what they wanted to do. And having that snowball, if you're Hayabusa, you're one happy kid, man.
Yeah.
Looking down on the slope, rolling like a ball, that's what you want to do.
That's full force snowball effect. And,
Yeah.
and on
Yeah.
a hero like Hayabusa, it's hard to play against that, right? And, you know, we were talking about this before with Sanford when he had those early, 3 kills, I believe it was.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it's even I would say scarier, because I'm thinking about the team ahead of you, right, against you. If you have a Hayabusa and he has 5 kills, and you haven't killed him, you haven't had an answer for him, it's really hard to work around that. So that
Okay.
snowball full force effect, and not to mention, like, it's not even just H2O. Everybody was where they needed to be. We didn't even get to see M1 like shine as much as we usually do because, again, that snowball was so big already, and Light was just making set after set. And so really, even when you have a pick-off-centric lineup that Blacklist International had, it was really difficult for them because, like Renmar said, every time they looked for something and maybe they got it, RSG was on point at finding a profitable trade, basically, which was usually the objectives in the space around the map.
Yeah, RSG reminded me a little bit of myself. Like, even though they would lose so much, they just never gave up.
Yeah, and that's the mindset, man.
Right there.
It just keeps on rising up on what the challenges could happen, because in our games of today, you're talking about Hayabusa, you're talking about how to prevent the snowball. Well, how do you do it at your Blacklist International? Because if that, they were more like, we're seeing similarities of the Uber Shade onto their movements rotating around the map. But how about this? Would they need to be that aggressive if they're up against this kind of team, especially when H2O is jungling on their side?
Oh, man. So many questions right now, but let's get some answers right now as to who will be our Smart Game Face of the Day winner.
Looks like we're on the hunt now for the next winner for our Smart Game Face of the Day. So Team Shooting Gallery be the next Smart Game Face of the Day winner. Just flash the hashtag Power of Smart on your devices in the green background. When the camera is right in front of you, go ahead and make that game face smile. Who will it be? All of the guys to see right now is I see them wear the mask. Who will be the winner of the day? Oh, we're pointing it now slowly. We're getting warmer. Who will it be?
Oh, there it is.
Is that a winner? We have a winner.
Where's the face?
Where's
There
the
it is.
face?
There it is.
Okay, we have a winner now. So if you
Congratulations.
want to have this experience, go ahead and book your tickets for the next run or for week number 4. And this is brought to you by Smart. So I believe if we have a game face of a day, it would be fair without a mask.
Yeah.
And it always happens with Niso on board here to show us the perfect example of a game face.
Well,
Okay.
you know, they got to wear the mask safety first, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always suggesting get the mask with the face on them.
The printed one?
Or
Yeah.
draw. Like if you have a white mask, you know, just draw on it. That's what I would do.
Or
I
I would, if I was an ologist, I would wear a mask with one of your faces on it.
Oh,
Yeah, it could work.
That's very sweet
Yeah.
of you.
But it might come off more terrifying than I thought it would be. Because now it's like with the upper
If it
half
was
of
my
my
lower
face, and then
You have a
put
beard.
that here. It's like something ain't right.
Something doesn't match up here.
Yeah, something doesn't match up.
Yeah, we could play a game on who's this face, right?
Yeah, it's like I was a bit undercooked.
Well, that was our game face of the day, brought to you by Smart. Now going back to the action of the day, Blacklist will need to get a grip on how they want to point or to play this on game number 2 to force it on a tiebreaker match. Now, let's talk about how will they counter this one. Would they be more in a utility state, or they can be more in aggressive state with H2 on the side of RSG Slate Philippines?
Yeah, well, for Blacklist International, I mean, they're always utility pretty much.
Yeah.
And they know when to be aggressive at the right moments, which they were in the last one. Really just that. RSG played a much better game in that game number 1.
Yeah.
Blacklist International, draft, no problem with it. In the game, no problem with it. But RSG was just like, RSG was just in control, man.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those situations.
What other changes could they make?
Well, now we've just received word right on our heads right here. So
No, we got it telepath.
okay, we are just using this now. With the official announcement, Rene J would be sitting this game. Now Edward would be in game number 2. We have Agent Zero back for this lineup. Quick change here for the code.
Quick change, but like Wolf said, plug and play, right? And I agree with what Renmar just said. It really wasn't down to honestly, Blacklist International had a pretty good draft. They had
They had
a strategy in mind. They played around that, which we saw them do throughout the game. But unfortunately for them, it just went in RSG's favor early on with the snowball effect that they had. And by that time, especially when you're talking about these these heroes that scale really well with early kills like that, early leads, it's hard to crawl your way back from that, even with the lineup that they had. So now with Edward in here, other than Renegade, I can see them still going with a signature Blacklist playstyle,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
But that's the thing. Does this actually change that dynamic where it stops RSG from having that kind of snowball effect in game 2?
Well, one thing I failed to mention though was, and I get now why Blacklist International made the swap, was because RSG actually committed like a fair amount of dives onto Renegade.
Like, they had a grudge, man.
Yeah, it's like Nas and H2 were just mind linked. And it was like, hey Nas, yeah, let's dive him. Okay.
Go up top. Up
Remember
top.
what you
Up
said
top.
in the interview?
Oh yeah, remember what I said in the interview? All right, okay, so we're gonna dive him, and they dive him over and over again. It, for Blacklist International, of course, with how long they've been playing alongside Edward, and of course in the games where Renegade, Blacklist International won with Renegade around, it's because their XP laner was having a really great game. Super active in the map,
Yeah.
very aggressive, can set up plays on their own. It's just that RSG, knowing that they're up against Renegade, and of course with the history with H2, and of course we know how Nafs is like, whoever he's going up against, it was just like, let's dive him, let's pressure him. So this is a good shift for Blacklist International because it shifts the mentality of RSG a little bit. Like maybe this time around they'll focus a little bit less on Edward, and that might give them a false sense of security because Edward can make a lot of plays by himself.
Well, let's focus on Edward. This takes me back from the keys to victory of Adams back there. So RSG tried to build side lane and mid lane lead fast, and that's what just the Raiders did. And with this kind of swap, it could actually work. So the glue could be on the side of Edward. Depends on who's going to be first pick for Blacklist International. So they might return to comfort, but not changing their plug-and-play strategy as we go and see this game unfolds. Now, for the side of this one, will they have a contest? Because it's Nats and Edward again for the XP lane.
Oh yeah, always a great matchup between those two. I did not expect that photo. Oh, the fans always get me in the worst moments.
Super red.
Super red with the Jujutsu Kaisen Melissa skin.
Amazing, right?
This is what you're missing out on, folks. If you don't go here at Shooting Gallery Studios, I love the energy of the crowd every time.
Always.
And they also mess with us perfectly.
Yeah.
Get us off guard there.
Completely lost my train of thought, folks.
We were talking about a classic matchup, right? We talked about
Nats and Edward.
Nats and Edward.
There we go. Thank you.
Nats and Edward once again. And as the comfort picks goes, we have the Benedetta, we have the glue. Oh, Lapu Lapu could be used here. Because on the other side, it was, not much of a way of answering the XP lane problem of the glue. So we might see one.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, because you kind of had an idea, right, of Renegade's going to get focused on, picked on, whatever you want to call it, when he's playing the previous game. What if he would have just went with, for example, a Uranus pick, super safe? You can hopefully live
Uranus.
on
and
survive, because yes, Benedetta can somewhat do that to an extent, but with the lockdowns that they had and the amount of CC that they had, it was just really tough, I feel like, for him to deal with. Or maybe even the fact that because H2O snowballed so hard and he had, 2 items really early on, that even if he had the Uranus in the hands of Renegade, it wouldn't have went so well.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it was any other pick,
fair enough.
maybe they actually might have struggled more. The Benedetta seemed like the best possible option in that scenario. Because if they picked up something like the Uranus, he's tanky, but oh my goodness, he can barely clear waves.
Right.
Blacklist needed more wave clear in that scenario, and Uranus is so passive now with all the adjustments of the meta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that you're pointing out some of the eternal battles that we missed.
No, I don't know if I miss it. I wouldn't go that far.
I don't miss it. I don't miss the constant Uranus Esme pickup.
I don't miss it. I'm just,
They're not in the meta for a reason.
Yeah, they were just slapping each other.
So
but they could both take it.
So the universe noticed us back in season 10. Okay, let's revert it a bit. No. Let's focus on a different one because I recall even last time on how Blacklist International and RSG had their first matchup. It was actually Light who used the Lolita on the first match. And one thing also, who dictated the information was Light got busy. Light got busy early game. He knew a potential threat of the carry, and he wanted his teammates to be on the guard, to maintain that momentum. It's because in the past seasons that we see, RSG struggled with one thing: finishing the game mid to late game. There's some sort of like a polished, like a newly developed state of RSG that they practice off season.
Let's see if they can keep that momentum up. If I'm RSG here, continue that aggression, and at the same time, that discipline. We talked about it. Keep the tenacity and aggression that you're known for before the objective fights.
Yep.
But then that discipline that you also have, hence why you ended up winning MSC 2022 with that 4-0 win over RRQ Hoshi back then. That was because of great discipline. As long as they continue that, they're going to be in a good spot here.
Yeah, let the consistency talk with experience. If
Heck yeah.
Blacklist International wants this and RSG wants this, maintain it. Now, we're going into the draft. Blacklist is going to go on the first pick this time.
Yeah, so they're blue side. I see probably similar bans for the most part going on. Right now, there might be a little bit of a change in terms of the second phase of bans, but still, I'm wondering, this time, especially with Blacklist being this first pick, do they just lean towards the Fredrin here? Not to say that that Wise didn't work out with the Kaja, but still, I think if you allow yourself to just pick up that hero that is picked, 100? I don't think, is it 100%? No, it's not 100%.
Is it Remar?
It's not. It's almost
100.
Almost always there.
It's almost always there, but you just lock that in. You secure that objective kind of lead that you're looking for, unless really you don't want to deal with H2O again on Assassin Jungle. Then that is something to think about here for Blacklist International.
Yeah, and actually I like this Melissa pickup. That's a great ban here for Blacklist International. Just don't give that to Eman. And of course, even though RSG wouldn't prioritize the Melissa in the first two picks, they still respected the idea of it. So, okay.
The joy.
Is it Fredrin? Is it Kaja? Valentina is a rare first pickup here this season. In the first pick, usually it's in the second or third for either side.
Yep.
So, lots of routes that they could go for, honestly, here. Fredrin is the safest choice, but if you're Blacklist, you're thinking that RSG are prepared for that. That they're already thinking about that's going to be a Fredrin. And that means a Valentina will be open for RSG. Farsa will be open.
And Lapu-Lapu, the XP lane.
The XP lane pick
for
will
Nats,
be open as well, yeah.
What will be the trade here if you're the code? Will it be Wise's hero?
Oh.
Okay.
Right.
It's for the Queen.
They pick up the Theramis. And Blacklist International play this pick really well. The difference between Exort and UA going into the series before Exort picked up the pick that he had earlier.
Previous game, he had the
Joy.
The Joy
mid lane. There
the Joy
we go.
mid lane, yep.
The difference was the Kadit and the Faramis. So now this is going to be second game for you and the Faramis, and Blacklist play around that well. So does that mean RSG going to pick up something like the Claude early on? Are they going to take away any potential pickups here for the Queen? Because look, Estes is still available for Blacklist. Blacklist can go the Ube route, but it looks like they're hovering over. You see it on your screens there, Valentina and Fredrin.
Okay. With UA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The
Ube.
Yeah.
I like Ube with the U. It sounds better.
All right, Ube with the UA.
Ube.
If they go with that.
Okay, Ube. Okay, that would be a fine one. So from Purple Yam with the Faramis priority. Now it's the S is still open. But one thing also that we're seeing here is the Lapu-Lapu of Edward being open in the table. Is RSG that prepared for this? Because Glue is still open. A lot of things are really open right now.
Yeah, it's almost always a Lapu, one of those pickups. You can even go Toms if they want to. Although it's one of those last option pickups that they show.
There it
is. They did it.
This is either going to be a carry or a Brodo. Oh, there we go, Brody.
Oh, okay. They want to play.
Ube with UA.
Are they prepared for this?
Ube.
Are they
I'm
prepared
trying.
for this?
Okay, so now they need that shredding power in for RSG, right? So will that be the carry, or did Blacklist just lead RSG to pick the carry? Because Bruno in the other could be the option. Even the Beatrix of Eman. I don't know if this would actually work, Redmar.
probably will be the Beatrix because they do need the wave clear. Usually there's a tendency if you have a lineup with a Fredrin and then a Valentina and it's clear that the Fredrin is going to the jungle and the Valentina's mid, you pick up your Beatrix right away because that's the wave clear that they have. So that's a safe route, but if not, they might actually go something like a Lolita?
Is that, yeah, you're correct. I see a hover on Lolita.
Oh, is there a hover?
It's a tank.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, good catch as well for the Brody and the Estes being in the invade state together, not revealing their marksman yet. Is this a safe run for RSG Philippines?
Might be tough. Blacklist can just take away the marksman already.
Yeah.
They'll most likely take away the Beatrix. If they don't, I will be quite surprised if they don't.
If they do, I see them picking up a Claude.
Oh, right. Thank you. Yeah, the Claude is still up on the table there. So Blacklist might actually ban out the Claude instead and then give the Beatrix because those are the last best two options. Heck, they could even just ban both. They can. They can just try to ban both.
Oh, we have him back again, the Venus cosplayer.
They all have the same glasses.
Yeah. Okay. RSG sees eyes on the threat. EXP lane, Agent Zero on the glue. Slowly building up. Yeah, and we're back. Oh, man, look at the audience right here.
Hey, Venus, get back on stage. You're supposed to be drafting.
How is he doing that?
How is he changing so quickly?
And he's
how the heck did that happen?
What?
Well, their hair color is different, by the way. I don't know.
Okay.
I ran out of punchlines. I'm sorry. I was so ready.
You're just so shook.
I was so ready to continue the joke train, but I ran out of punchlines.
It's okay.
Yep. So Black decided to take out the Ling. So they're okay with whatever marksman that they're going to be going up against. It's up to RSG to decide. If I'm RSG, just pick the marksman last. Heck, even
for
surprise
safety,
maybe.
yeah. You're on the red side.
They need more magic damage. This has been my principle for the longest time now. That's a good ban on the Barrage. You don't want to give that to Blacklist International, although they can still actually bring out the Guinevere jungle.
Yeah.
It's still available.
Would they?
Take away the assassins.
That's the respect.
Yeah, Lancelot is so hard to use up against this lineup, so they're really just funneling the Fredrin into the hands of H2 for safety. So
he doesn't flex it to the XP lane.
yeah, so they don't flex it. Such a smart call there by Blacklist. Magic damage, please, if you're RSG. Nathan, Harith, gonna be tough, but you need more of that.
So, with that being said, the option now of RSG, they could go for the XP. I'm not sure.
It depends, right? Like, that's the card that they're holding on to right now.
Lapu is still open, though.
Yeah, this next
Lapu
pick
is open.
will tell us a lot, basically, right?
What if they shifted around? What if RSG still end up picking up Baksha? It won't stop
The
a lot of the
sustain on the
healing.
jungler?
It might help, but...
Oh, there you go.
Claude.
Okay, still going to be a Claude. So
Called it, Naizu. Not going to be in the last pick.
Okay.
Well, again, I think it works really well against what you have to deal with the Cult Altar, right? Like, you have that available to you. You can kind of get in there, get out, hopefully provide a lot of the damage. Now, that's one thing that I was wondering, too. You know, if you're RSG slate here, Philippines, do you want to lock in the Baksha pick, put Fredrin in the XP lane, so at least you have this early on passive to help you deal with Estes healing? Like, that could be something that we see here in the last pick. Again, that's what they're holding their cards for, right? That's the Fredrin being flexed.
Yep. Oh, yeah, and all things in the table of being flexed. Kaja and Benedetta. So it's going to be Wise Kaja again.
Yep.
And Edward's signature pick. So with this, Lapu is still open for Nats to be taken. And still, by observing this, we're leaning on towards EXP lane on the Fredrin. And this would answer a lot, like how Coach Panda is thinking now and how to answer the draft of Blacklist International. They need something here with damage.
Oh, Edith maybe. But it's still going to be so tough to pull it off. It checks off the thing that we're talking about where they need a little bit more magic damage, but I don't know. They might actually be thinking about it. Maybe burst. Maybe bring back...
Oh, okay. Really? They're doing it.
There was a part of me that was like, you know, after yesterday, man, I was like, I would love to see Arlott again because I feel like yesterday wasn't the best
Arlott game
opportunity to see what he can do, especially because it just, you know, I believe it was Renzio that played the Arlott the first time for the debut yesterday.
It
so
was.
We'll see. We'll see if this is a different case for this game.
Yeah, and the second Arlot of yesterday was Nath. So Nath gets a second chance at it again.
Oh, right. So, okay. Well, if this is the card of ours you want to play up against Blacklist, possible way of reversing this, well, have it their way, because the Arlot really gives a lot of ways in terms of setup, right? Since all about the dive, we have the Ube. Thinking about all the skills that coming together, man.
Did Naths win yesterday with Arlot?
No.
So it lost twice.
Yeah, it lost twice. It was a tough day for Arlot debuts yesterday.
Tough day for the Arlot mains out there, right? Let's see what they can pull off with it. It looks like, yeah, so it's going to be Nath's second try at it. Rolling with the Festival of Blood here, so can't wait to see how it unfolds.
Well, let's go. Let's find out. It's game number 2. And looking at this point, it's Emon and Light. Targeting on Super Red early on. Almost half HP onto the pokes.
Yeah. What I'm looking at here is that I'm really looking Exort here to play the game of his life as a Valentina.
Ooh.
Time those Terrifies well, get to burst down the right targets. He might actually even prioritize getting the Divine Judgment if it's not going to be the Cult Altar, because that pickoff will work wonders to go up against Blacklist International. If they can pick off either the Faramis or Estes with one healing down, they can continue to fight.
And now up ahead on the situation of the junglers here. Y is on level 3. Up ahead with the faster rotation, having the Estes and also the Faramis on both in one composition gives a lot of way to rotate early on, right? Up against RSG.
Yeah, not only that, but the poke. The poke there is pretty scary, right, to deal with, because usually when you have the Faramis mid lane and they're running with the Last Worship, they're going to be pretty aggressive. Not only is the Stampede a great utility, but the fact that you can poke people down with, the Ghost Bursters, it does build up over time. And then, of course, you have that pretty big slow, from the Estes pick. So overlapping those is going to work really well here, specifically for Blacklist International as they get ready for that turtle.
Well, side lane and mid lane pressure early on. You have eyes on how to make this checklist work. First turtle of the game, I say RSG setting up camp early, but Blacklist is not also letting that happen to have this opportunity be lost against RSG. Meanwhile, going with the pokes, going for the setup here.
Well, they already get the flicker out from Nats here. Turtle half health. Light gonna charge up, finding 2 with the Newman on blast. Do they get the Cult Altar out? Do they have enough damage? Nat still fighting Wise. Gonna get zoned out here. Now Edward on the chase. Still fighting for the turtle. It's secured by H2O. First blood, though, going in the hands of Blacklist International.
Oh, might be a punish here.
Stopping it.
Still gonna go. H2O, though, disengaged. That's pretty much the power of that heal coming out from Oh My Venus.
Man, the setup of Light, timing it correctly. Look at the space, how he made it all calculated with that flicker and punch in.
Yeah, if you're Blacklist International, you would not have expected that. This is, again, the signature of Light, to just try set up at the most unexpected positions. Just Queen things on your screen right now, ranked first in assists per game. So along with cracking the record of most assists in career overall, assists per game, also in the lead here, Oh My Venus.
Yeah, right now, there's the Petrify Naths. He's going to be in trouble. Can he escape this one? He just walks away. Didn't really have to sidestep that, but luckily for Naths, he lives to fight another day.
Again, this is the well-touted Benedetta pick of Agent Zero, the signature Benedetta for him. The finals MVP of Season 10, Benedetta for him. And one thing I want to mention here about the Arla, but before that, Wise with a pull.
They're going to get the Divine Judgment out. There's the Cult Altar. Newman blast the setup. Emon with the Blazing Duet comes in. Do they have enough damage, though? They lack it. They can't get a kill. And again, the sustain is real from Oh My Venus. There's the drag. The combination. UA grabbing the kill.
The pull and the counter punish. Talking about regenerating life for Blacklist International. Say yes for that early rotation.
Yeah, a little bit too early there with the entry by Emon with the Blazing Duet. Again, if you get to deplete the life of your opposing team who have the Faramis with them, they will get stunned, but they will be immune from damage. Emon just a little bit too early with that entry, so most of the damage that he could have dished out wasn't absorbed by Blacklist International. And the point I was trying to make earlier with the Arlet is actually if you look at RSG, they have so many control abilities that there's a lot of opportunities for Nath to trigger his Demon Eye passive. So that he'll be able to trigger a lot more of those enhanced second skill uses when he decides to commit to them.
Oh, RSG from that moment, if they let it happen again, they would need damage to counter back the defense of Blacklist International because they could just stand there all day, regenerating HP. Oh
my goodness! Agent Zero! What a play, what a move! That's exactly why he loves this Benedetta.
Yeah, speaking of avenging early game number 1.
All right, he's still going, right? Wise going to be working on this turtle light there, waiting patiently. We'll see if they're able to secure it. Emon being chased out as well. It's H2O, though.
Secures.
That grabs the turtle.
Oh, wow.
It's able to find a kill. Using that final slash. Now on the chase of Edward. He's You can't get away from that.
The flick of smack coming in from Nath.
Ow.
I don't know, he could do that. Okay, so Dauntless Strike along with a Flicker. That's something I'm going to be using more in my ranked games. Tremendous play there by RSG. The positioning of Light actually is probably why H2 was able to secure the turtle for RSG. He was behind them. He probably charged up a Numenon Blast.
Well, they're still going to be battling it out, working on this bottom lane. But look at that poke. They got to respect it as well from RSG.
Oh.
I'm hearing new chants in the arena.
This is new. This is new, okay?
Yeah, I love it, though.
And going back to that replay, look at this.
Well, we missed the take, right? And because we got to look. Oh, there you go. We got to look, though. Emon was being chased out. And just, hey, Nath's wanted a redemption shot on this Arlot. So far, so good.
4-man rotation bot, though. RSG need to be careful.
Yeah, I'm on quite low, but Exord there, too. Will they be able to survive this one? H2O getting the signal as well. They might commit to this if they can. Wise quite slow. Light gonna charge up. Finding Numenon Blast. There's the Colt Alter. Emon trying to help on this. Does he have the damage available now? Look at that. Super Red forcing RSG back here. No one going down. This is exactly what we expect when there's a lot of sustain. And then pretty much 2 Colt Alters, both sides still not done just yet. Light gonna get suppressed here. Finally goes down now on the chase. Oh my, Venus is down. UA quite low.
And what
no
are you
one
gonna
able
do?
to capitalize just yet. A 1-for-1 down.
Oh, the back and forth. The back and forth between these two teams, man. Amazing.
Well, right now, the focus here, bottom side, they do get the turret. So out of all of that, you know, RSG Philippines able to secure themselves another objective. Now the turtle dance starts. Edward top side grabs a Blacklist International one. They're going to be happy with it. Turtle, 1/4 health here. It's going to secure it by Wise.
Oh, wow.
Able to grab that. Objective for objective. And RSG is going to back off. Edward, though, goes in. Finds the Petrify. Using the ultimate, that electro final blow as well. No one going down yet.
That is a twist and turn for the gold lead right there, but the objectives really matters right now if you're Blacklist. Now they're slowly giving Peelan pressure, but the retry battle on that part, man, that could go on in any minute of this game.
Yeah, now Super Red getting to push down bottom. And now RSG have their backs against the wall. They've broken the same amount of towers, but in terms of map positioning and who is able to position where, Blacklist are in the lead. But again, the trend continues. Both teams, if they're going to lose, they're not giving up so much. They're still both very patient. They know when they've lost the fight, and if it's too risky for them to continue it, and they back off. Tremendous skill these two teams are showing right now.
All right now, still going to be putting the pressure here mid lane. The clash down comes out. Both Colt Alters. Look at Light. Looking for the setup. Numenon Blast. Oh! Finds 3 is a follow-up there. Emon with a blazing duet. He goes back to fall for Blacklist International. A double, make it a triple kill for H2O.
Oh, it's in the keys to victory. Try to black out the Light, but again, Light in full beam right now. I can't help but squint. He's too bright. He's too bright.
Well, that's high beams for you, Renmar, but I want to say it again. He did it back in Season 10 up against Blacklist International. That was 5, and this one was 3. Light with this hero, man, you need to be worried on where he's coming from. And from that conceal, they made it all happen.
I'm blinded. Light, tremendous positioning time and time again. Eman couldn't make the most out of the Blazing Duet as much as unfortunately he received a lot of burst damage when he entered. However, that's why the Fredrin's such a great pickup. That damage coming out from his Appraiser's Wrath. The chaining of the crowd controls, and again, Nas was able to also dance around, just vengeance after vengeance, skill to use.
Yep.
RSG turning things around like that. The back and forth between these two. Just tremendous showing by these two teams. RSG have great positioning around this Lord. They still do have to respect the capabilities of Blacklist to steal it away from them, though.
Speaking of the capabilities of the code, you have good wave clear from top to bottom, so that's one thing that they need to be worried about. They need to set focus on what could be the possible way that Agency are going to do up top. But as of now, it's the objective that they're eyeing on.
Yeah, they're also feeding all the buffs to Eman right now, RSG, so a purple and orange buff is in the hands of Eman.
Not only that, back to the Lord Dance, K2V here. We know how crucial it's going to be. We'll see if both junglers decide to give it a go. Edward still trying to do work, put pressure where he can. Going to get pushed back here for now. Lord still being juggled around. Oh My Venus waiting patiently along with Wise. Also on the bottom side, Yue making his way along with Super Red. Looks like Lord's just going to go ahead and reset for now. Both teams are waiting for a mistake.
Great call there. RSG needed to reset that because of the minion wave pushing down bot, and they know they have to watch out for the top lane split push as well, as Edward is doing now. So good call to reset by RSG, but Blacklist International are also playing this well, playing around with the minions, mobility they have with the Benedetta, and the pressure that they can be applied in the side lanes.
Yeah, there's a good sign for RSG Slate Philippines right now. Not committing or not over-committing right now, because if they want to solve the problems here, and if as they want to take this Lord, they need to have answer with the wave clears, right?
Yeah, look at the positioning of Light, though. This is an Echo classic positioning. Let's see if Blacklist International knows. They're waiting for it. Light is just hiding. Are RSG going to pull the trigger in this play? They're a bit too split up. Will Blacklist find the Light hiding in the shadows?
Well, that's the truth. How will you get one? Because you would want to come where the bush.
They get the pull on H2O. They're looking to take out the jungler. They don't get it, though. Why?
Oh, here you go!
Comes in, finds 4. One after another. Can they grab it? No one falling despite the amazing setup from Light.
No conversion.
Man,
the power of the Uube.
Yeah, Uube. But the trick or treat of Light is just getting dangerous. But they got to figure out.
They got a lot out here. And right now, it's still the battle for this Lord.
Yeah. Oh, look at Edward. Edward and Emma. And Emma's chasing down Edward.
Oh, yeah, he's getting pushed out here. Still, this is probably one of the longest Lord dances we've seen up to this point. The battle for it ensues. Both junglers having the retributions available. Light also having the new on blast again. Wise taking too much damage. The heal is there. The follow-up, though. Once again, H2O goes in. And they're on the retreat. No one falling just yet from Blacklist International. The heals are real. But RSG securing the Lord, and they reset.
They have a push. They have a clear. But is this a good sign for Blacklist to still hold it through?
Yeah, Blacklist needs to push out minion waves as much as they can. One in the side, and then the others are just going to have to defend and hold on. RSG played that tremendously well. The moment they saw Light was just a moment. A bit overextended. They decided to pounce. H2 was left with the Lord, and they got the Lord and a minion down in mid. It's not a massive conversion, but it's still objective. Oh no, but Emma needs to get away from Wise.
He actually got away, man. If he would have gotten pulled, that would have been bad for Emon and RSG here. They're still playing around this Lord take that they got. Even though the Lord's down, they still got these powered up minions they can work on waves here, putting pressure on these turrets.
Yeah, look at the gold right now on Emon on Super Red. Well, the Brody's still climbing, and as scaling goes by, I think one of the things that they need to worry about is how a Super Red can scale into the late game.
Yeah.
But is it still a safe window for Blacklist to still hold through as RSG goes with its lead?
Oh, they can. I mean, they have a tremendous lineup for holding. It's just that, of course, all the damage output that can be dished out is going to be coming from their Brody. So RSG actually need to be careful and respect the potential turnaround that Blacklist can dish out from a base siege location, especially now with Super Red with a Malefic Roar as well on him.
Well, that physical penetration could mean a lot to defend and hold this, but they have the Pharahs, they have Yue, they have Oh My Venus. In some point, in some team fights, they would need to deplete out the hell of RSG. And one that they're strong for is since they have the lead, they might want to do it, but someone got pulled here.
They're going to find Navs. Is that the right target, though? He's going. Use the final slash.
Whoa.
Light going to miss the Newman on blast, though. Here comes the Blazing Do It. Edward a little bit late. Looking for the Petrify if he can get it off.
Oh, Red's down.
For it. Red's down. UA falls. Finally, the shutdown of H2O. Edward just a little bit too late, but eventually helps with a successful defense.
Could have been the game winner there for RSG. Unfortunately, Light charged up his Numenon Blast behind the rock wall. He couldn't flicker over. So you see it, the flicker was actually in cooldown. He was supposed to flicker Numenon Blast. He did that, but couldn't flicker through the rock wall.
That's one big obstacle that he needs to look out if you want to do it again. Not on the big rock, man. Because that was so close, but of all of the things that happened, we only have 1-to-1 trade.
Yeah, that's the power, the way you look at it, it's the power of having pretty much 2 Cult Altars to deal with, and then the healing, the sustain with that Estes pick. I mean, this is something we see lots and lots of times whenever that Estes is locked in, especially in the hands of Oh My Venus. So now we've come back
Edward
to a Lord dance, but Edward getting quite low from Emon.
Okay.
I wonder if RSG know that Super Red's not in proximity here.
Looks like they're going really careful with it. Emon still does have the Blazing Duet too. Lord going to be at about a little less than half health. It's going to be juggled around again. H2O and Wise still
Another
looking
dance.
for that angle.
Yeah, I'm looking at the number 12,000 here. Once I get to 12,000, someone might trigger something.
Oop.
Ooh, I wonder if they saw him.
Did they see him?
Did they see him? Oh,
Yeah.
No,
they did.
they spotted him.
Yeah.
Man, that skill that White just let out really gave the way to Light to go out of that bush, because they're being wary of where he could be coming from.
Yeah.
In 9 seconds, his flicker is out, also his ultimate, so there's one thing that can change here. Well, being on the way of contesting that Lord, they want to conceal a push. That's a pull.
Wise going for the pull. He gets Naz. There's the final slash. Just looking for a clean up here. They get the Cold Altar out. Super Red able to find Naz. Edward making his way too. Can he get the Petrify off? Looking for it. Just uses the Electro final blow. Going to be targeted by Emon. Emon finds the target. 3 down.
Oh, that might be
Blacklist
it.
International.
Is this it? Is this it for Raiders to push through the base of Blacklist International? Light just came out of nowhere, and they're just knocking in the base right now.
It's just UA and Oh My Venus. They're going to lose the mid inhibitor turret. It's 2 versus 4 for too long. UA trying to buy time. He's going to fall here. And it's RSG looking to end the game in a sweep.
There's no minions, but they don't care.
RSG sweeps Blacklist International.
They went into this day coming from a loss. Blacklist went into this day with a 3-game win streak. But the MSC champions, turns out they were the ones slated for victory today. With discipline and tenacity, they sweep Blacklist International.
History repeats itself once again. This happened the same thing back in week number 3 of MPL Season 10. And that way, man, that Light just keeps becoming spookier by the minute. I don't know where the hell he goes around that quick. And right, we know it, he's the one dropping down the ultimate right in Blacklist International.
Light just keeps getting brighter by the minute, man.
Yeah.
You know, even if he misses the flicker play, the guy's on point most of the time, right? And again, he gets his hands on that Lolita. You know he's going to find the setups that he needs, but just overall, and what a redeeming game, too, for Arlott, you know, and in the hands of Nats. I feel like he did pretty good.
Point.
Because you actually needed quite a bit of damage to deal with that Cold Holder and then the sustain that they had with the Estes pick. And I think actually that interaction with the Quad plus the Arlott, the way that ultimate works and everything else, actually overlapped really well there.
Yeah, and the fact that, of course, as we mentioned earlier, RSG had so many control abilities to trigger the passive of the Arlott so that he could continue getting the enhanced vengeance so that he keeps resetting when he used it. Actually, you got to see it in the team fights after the Cult Altar fell. Of course, it would start. You see the purple eyes around the members of Blacklist. Called Alter falls. They come out of the stun. Then the purple eyes are up again. Then you see Arlo just go dashing around all over. So even though, again, since it's still quite new, the Arlot, we're getting used to the mechanics of it, the interactions with everything. As you said, a redemption game for Arlot and for Nats on this Arlot, and they were able to play with it really well and set it up very well.
Well, yeah, and also in this kind of games that how RSG wanted to play up against Blacklist International, I say this is one thing that they really want to work about, how to build around the Arlot, and one thing that was lacking inside of Blacklist International is they have the full sustain, tremendous sustain of HP bars, but the damage, once light goes in, that's one problem they need to answer. How long will they go through? How long can they hold it? Because that was one that was missing though. The counter punch, the counter punish wasn't really that showing, right?
Yeah. Not only that, but you know, Renmar said this early on in the game, or when the game started. He's going to have his eyes on Exort. You know, how did he play that Valentina? And if you actually later you're going to break the game down, but you're going to see a lot of the times he had really good timing on. Most of the time he had the Cult Altar, right? So he had really good timing on that. A lot of the times too, he was able to deter advancement from Blacklist International with the Terrify alone. So there was a lot of times where those little decisions that Exort made on the Valentina really helped them find success in these skirmishes, these team fights, despite dealing with a lot of sustain, even from Oh My Venus.
Yeah. Chain of crowd controls executed very well by RSG.
CC chain. Yeah, well, last week it was CC train, right?
Yeah.
In game number 1, it's completely way of how you really want to break things down. Because in a ube manner of Blacklist International, which teams respect, that's one thing you break it down, right? Slowly. But if they went on, and if it wanted to prolong the game like in the later stage, that could be a mean problem for RSG, right?
Yeah.
And that's one thing that you need to worry about. Light. Where? Like trick-or-treating every corner and answers to all the problems. But that's just one thing also you can solve if you have a team such as that tank and just as a regenerating that it can be.
Not only that, but the fact that, you know, we were actually able to see H2O in 2 different forms. I think that is, again, showing just how good of a jungler H2O is, because a lot of people are comparing, you know, even from Demon Kai to H2O, and honestly, both of them have been forced to grow as players, and even their hero pool, and the way that they play that, you can actually see some similarities. But H2O, now you've seen him on the Assassin, then you see him on a utility, pretty much tanky type jungler in the Fredrin. The guy can do it both, right? Especially with the support of that team there, everything kind of falling into place. Yes, RSG Slate Philippines was kind of rocky as they got through the season. But honestly, the beginning of the season for most of these teams in Season 11, it was kind of like that, right? Where they had to really settle in, work some things out here and there, but eventually you see them settle in. That even happened with TNC this week, right?
Yeah.
So again, Week 3 is a whole kind of culmination of all these learning processes for these teams from Week 1 to Week 2 and then now here Week 3. So that's why, again, as we get into that midway point of Season 11, I can't wait to see it unfold, because now it seems like all these teams, they had a lot to figure out, and they're starting to get there. Some faster than others, but this is a great win, sweeping victory for RSG Slate Philippines.
That's the reason why the Philippine meta is much stronger than any region at all. Is you need to study your own way.
I mean,
that's it, right?
That's heated, Francis.
Yeah, but that's how we started the season, right? It's the strong Philippine meta, and we all need to study within ourselves on how to beat ourselves. It's a lot of work, but progress is still progress. Now let's throw it over to Marakina right on stage there, together with RSG Philippines.
RSG Philippines just swept the defending champions. Congratulations! Now, kanina, sobrang on point mo. Lagi mong nakukuha yung ult ni Feramis. And because of that, na-turn around mo yung laban. It's so on point, it's amazing. How do you know when to use that?
Ano lang po, ginagamit ko lang yun pag ginagamit din ni Yue. Pag nag-ulti rin si Venus, tsaka nag-ulti si Yue, doon na rin ako ulti. Parang yun, para pantay yung laban, yun, parang ube sa ube, ganun.
Ano mapansin ko sa'yo? Tumaas talaga yung confidence mo, hindi lang sa laro pati na rin pag ini-interview ka, sa pagsalita mo. What helped with that?
Di ko alam eh.
Oh, ngayon lang siya nang
Di ko alam,
nervous.
parang as time goes by, wala. Parang nag-improve lang ako lang nag-improve, tsaka sa confidence ko.
Very confident at that. And, isa sa confidence na nakita ko during the game, by the way, did you know, 3 koponan, including RSG, ang gumamit ng Arlot, but only Nats made it work. The first Arlot win of the season. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Why do you think ikaw you made it work so well and the others, they had a hard time with it? What was it about what you did?
Yung sa ano lang po, yung sa hero nila. Ano po sila para Miss Estes yung sa ibang teams po, nagdidigi agad yung kalaban. So, mahirap mag-arlot kasi nawawala yung dash pag nag-ulti yung digi. Ay, yung mark pala. Yun lang po.
Very impressive. First Arlot win of the season. And H2. Okay, so first time, naglaban ang dalawang besties. At game number 1 pa lang, parang may Cold War na ganap kayo. Si Rana J 2-0, ikaw 2-0, tapos yung unang nakapatay, ikaw, pinatay mo, si Rana J. Nung nangyari yon, if you could remember, yung unang laban nyo yung game number 1, ano yung reaction mo? Yung first death niya galing sa'yo?
Ayun talaga yung plano namin early pa lang eh. Hindi naman sa dapat patayin si Rena J kasi pag hindi namin pinatay si Rena J, gugulihin niya ako sa turtle pag nagka-turtle fight. Ako yung target niya kaya kailangan pitasin agad si Rena J pag ganun.
And what do you think his reaction was nung ikaw yung nakapatay sa kanya? I mean, you can read his mind.
Wala naman. Wala namang reaction. Sabi ko lang, patay sa akin to, yun lang. Ganun lang.
And that you did. Congratulations, RSG with the sweep. You may now take your bow and go ahead, walk to the crowd. I'll take that. Okay, one more time. GG. 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 Ang galing talaga ng cheerleaders nila dito. I don't know if you guys can hear it at home, but they are really happy with that 2-0. Ngayon, ano nga ba ang masasabi ng ating mga casters? Pakinggan natin. Casters, pasok.
Thank you so much, Mara Aquino. I just want to say that all of the teams who came from a loss, struggled from what they went through from the matches, bounces back with a sweep. And TNC made it yesterday, now RSG made it today.
That's what I'm saying, man. Makes it interesting for this first half, and then as we get to the second half of this season, there's a lot here changing for a lot of these teams, a lot of settling in, and now the form is starting to form for a lot of these teams. So,
It's starting to form, yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, the fact that it's always great to hear that post-game interviews, right? Because I know a lot of people might be watching on the English stream, they don't know exactly what they're saying, but the fact that there was a little bit even I guess, doubts for RSG coming into the season from the changes that they had, but now they've kind of proven themselves, and I really want to see them rise back up, especially for the rest of the season ahead of us.
Yeah, great potential show here by RSG. Again, I wonder if this will be the start of a win streak, or will their current trend continue of win-loss, win-loss? We'll see.
Well, that's the Rages showing on full potential now. For the analyst segment, Renmar break it down. That's RSG with a sweep up against Blacklist International.
All right, so we can get a closer look at this game. I want to start things first off with something Nats mentioned in the interview. The reason why the Arlot worked this time around was that he didn't have to worry about going up against something like a Diggy, which was what he went up against when they went up against Brent Esports. Of course, you lose the passive of the Arlot when that happens. And we talked about it, all the crowd control abilities that RSG have give more passive marks for the Arlot to use the Vengeance second ability over and over again, get that enhanced so that it can get a reset. So as we see more Arlot games, we're understanding the build more. It seems to be Dominance Ice Rush, and then Hunter Strike, Malefic Roar eventually to get some extra more damage, and then you build more defensive items again with the Athena Shield pick up there by Arlot, considering that they're up against, of course, the Faramis, being able to deal a great amount of magic damage, and of course, just reducing the burst damage that can come out from Akaja initially when you get comboed by him. And because also Nas understood that he was getting pulled over and over again. Now we have to bring the conversation back to Exord. Nice, who brought up a great point earlier on, where one of the great things that Exord did in this game was that he would not be afraid to take a stand. No, I'm not referencing the song, but to actually dash closer to members such as Edward, try to burst him down a little bit, change some interrupts, so that it delays the entry of Edward in the team fight. The Benedetta here would have played a tremendous role in being able to deal damage. The Petrifies onto RSG, which would have thrown them off guard, which would set things up for Super Red to deal the damage freely. And that's the concept here with Blacklist International and their lineup. However, again, I go back to the thought of, in my point of view, they were lacking a little bit more magic damage. Funnily enough, a lot of the magic damage came from Lolita. Yes, I know she deals physical, but Light was just magical in this game. So hence why it's magic damage being dished out by him. The fantastic angles with the Numenon, blasts, flickering. Of course, there were some moments where he would bump into a wall or it wouldn't connect, but the ones that landed were converted very well by RSG. And you saw there time and time again, Light would always look to utilize that ultimate flicker combo from such strange angles that even Blacklist wouldn't expect it. And that, again, is one of the strengths of Light. Why he was the regular season MVP in MPL Philippines Season 9. The angles he would be coming from for setups is one of the greatest strengths of this man as the roamer. Just like that. Picture perfect. And that would happen all throughout the game for RSG. Now we have to talk about the lineup of Blacklist International, though. Again, the Faramis is the main source of magic damage. Of course, the Kajo's also there. Funnily enough, it's in theory, on paper, in the actual practice of the team fight, most of the magic damage, it seems like the magic damage that Xord can dish out is still going to be way more than the Faramis and the Kaja can bring out. Although, we also have to credit the great itemization of RSG picking up the Athena Shields and Radiant Armors when they did. And at the same time, again, RSG continuing the trend that they showed in game number 1, wherein they were smart about their team fighting, where if they knew that Blacklist would be winning it, they would get away. And if they had a good call for a team fight, they will fight it. They knew when to take their fights. The game could have ended here, but again, this was the unfortunate timing of Light just being beside the wall that he couldn't flicker over. But Blacklist International playing to their strengths with the lineup, with this Uube, with the Faramis Estes combination, RSG were prepared for this. That's why they gave it. They knew how to handle it. Going up against it. You saw their adjustments in game. This could have gone terrible for them, but they executed their game plan against this lineup perfectly. Gentlemen, a fantastic showing by RSG. And again, it poses the question, is this the beginning of a win streak for them finally this season?
Where they are the defending MSC champs, and I just want to say that was one of the calming voice that I've heard. Calming. For an analysis segment. Thank you, Renmar.
Thank you.
That was an intense match, and
I was calming?
to have like a dessert to rinse over. That's one calming way to break it down.
Yeah, it was a great breakdown there, and also I want to say, man, maybe there's an answer now for the dealing with the cult altar. Right, yeah. Because that's what we saw from them there, and it worked out so well. So I'm just happy that we got to end Week 3 like this. It's nice to see these teams rising across Week 3. Yeah. And again, I'm going to say it again, can't wait for Week 4.
I can't imagine that, though, days this just happened really fast. And once again, my name is OSX. I'm with Nice and Renmar. We're throwing over to to Mara to wrap things up. Go ahead, Mara.
We just witnessed the week of intense matches right here in MPL Philippines. Kanina lang, nasaksihan natin ang ating reigning world champs, Echo, ending their week 3 with their unblemished record. 5 out of 5 series coming home with a win. And after that, nakita natin, H2 and RSG Slate Philippines putting an end to Rena J and Blacklist International's win streak. That's the end of our week number 3. Kaya kita-kits po tayo sa susunod na linggo as we enter week number 4. And let's witness and celebrate our unsung heroes at kung ano nga ba ang bumubuo sa Philippine meta. Once again, I'd like to thank my designer dyan, Joseph Lida, watching right here with the audience. Thank you once again for this beautiful outfit and your creations. Kita-kits po tayo, huwag kayong mawawala dahil halfway na sa susunod ng linggo sa ating regular season. Muli ang Mara Aquino na laging nagpapaalala. Sa harap man ng pagsubok or tagumpay, huwag kalimutan, itaas ang lakas. Keep it good vibes, everybody. See you next week. The 11th season of MPL Philippines is brought to you by the following sponsors. Smart, the official tournament telco partner of MPL Philippines Season 11. Our official sponsor, Infinix. Infinix Note, ultra-fast gameplay. Our partners in esports, Maya, it's everything, and a bank. And Secret Lab, the official gaming chair of MPL Philippines. Experience the MPL Philippines Season 11 action live at Shooting Gallery Studios. Tickets are now available via tickettome.net. Get yours now. If you missed the matches and want to quickly recap what happened, visit our official website for post-match reports at ph-mpl.com/news. Don't forget to catch all of our official league content on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To ensure the quality and fairness of our games, MPL Philippines is also monitored and supervised by the Games and Amusement Board.